You know how Drake's has started from the bottom, now we're here? I mean, today we're at the bottom, but from here anything's possible. Haters gonna hate, but it's like we get to choose. Bully or bullied, leader or loser. Most likely to run the world, most likely to blow it up.
Degrassi has gone through a lot of changes throughout its run. Some good decisions and some bad.
But I can't imagine a life without you.
I don't care.
We know that Degrassi was in a pretty rough place after season 14, and we didn't really know what was going to happen going forward with the show. And then the next class was announced to be on Netflix. Part of me was interested to see what would happen with the show, and another part of me was nervous because it was going to Netflix. The reason for this was because Netflix's seasons tend to be short, like 8 to 10 episodes short, but a lot of those dramas had episodes that were at least 40 minutes to an hour long. So I was thinking maybe Degrassi would get the same treatment. However, that didn't happen, and it was still restricted to its 22-minute format, which I think really hurt the pacing of the show. The writers definitely had a hard time focusing on all the characters at times, and this was evident by how some plot lines feel rushed. I'll get more into specifics in a little bit. Degrassi is a show that focuses on a group of teens, meaning that there needs to be a decent amount of episodes in a season where everyone feels like they're getting focused on. Degrassi has never been perfect with this, but especially considering that a lot of the seasons have had at least 20 episodes, some even 40 or more, it would be a drastic change to the pacing of a season, going from at least 20-something episodes down to 10 per season. It's possible that 40 episodes were ordered and they divided up the 40 episodes into 10 per season. I definitely want to talk more specifically in another video about how I prefer a Degrassi episode to be structured, because they did change the episode format throughout the seasons, and I think that it worked in some cases, and in some cases it didn't work. For the next class's case, each episode had to balance 3 plot lines per episode, and sometimes the focus on a specific plot line means the other one doesn't get as much focus throughout the season, so a character's arc throughout the season might feel a little disjointed because of that. This isn't going to be me bashing the next class, because although I have problems with the show, there are things that I like about the next class in the certain way things were handled throughout. This will be more of a nuanced look at what I think was strong, what I think was weak, and even examining why things ultimately didn't end well for Degrassi going forward. I know there have been other videos discussing the next class, so I want to try to add something new to the discussion. This is going to be long, so strap in. Season 1 starts a new school year. The focus is on the new juniors and sophomores. Miles and Tristan and new student Goldie are running for class president. Since we're continuing from where the previous season left off, there are some plot lines that carry over into the season. I know a lot of people probably aren't fans of the poppy sounding whatever it takes, but I kind of like the new theme song for the next class, even though I know the sound isn't for everybody. One of my first problems with the show is certain things that are introduced in the next class that feel a little out of place, or it feels like they skip something in between. For example, I've already talked about Tristan and Miles before, and how I just don't think the couple was a good pairing, even though I'm not against it, because there are moments throughout season 13 that could be indicating a developing relationship between them. It's just how they got together and the breakup, and it just makes me very hesitant. I think the show wanted to kind of rewrite things between them going into the next class. In season 14, after Tristan sees that Miles still has feelings for Maya, he breaks up with Miles, and of course it's expected that Tristan would still have feelings for him. That doesn't just go away overnight. However, when the next class starts, Miles is apparently into Tristan again when we haven't really got to see that feeling from him.
Then I realized that the real problem was I felt alone.
So you're running to make friends?
I'm running because I want Degrassi to have something for everyone.
It just feels like the writers are pairing them up because it's the start of another school year, and Miles and Tristan were dating not too long before this. There wasn't at least a few scenes showing that Miles was thinking about Tristan while they were broken up, to at least set up them getting back together. It would have made more sense to me if they showed a scene with Miles and Tristan reconnecting after breaking up the way they did, and Miles realizes that he misses Tristan. But we don't really get anything like that, so I'm sitting there wondering, why does Miles want to get back together? It just feels like he's not really serious about Tristan and is taking advantage of his lingering feelings.
You told me you liked it rough.
Why are you even running? You hate school.
I'm running because I'm tired of running. Things got so bad with my dad last year. He's out of the house now, but he's still in the city. You're not over me, and you're just looking for a distraction.
You've never been more wrong.
That's too bad, because I'm not over you.
And maybe that wasn't the intention of the writers, but that's just how it comes off to me. Also, more by erasure.
Size of my ass. You can't even decide if you like boys or girls.
Okay. Miles seems upset about what Tristan did.
And Miles' outrageous party, which totally violated the spending limit.
You're pathetic. Win, congratulations. But enjoy while it lasts, because I'm going to destroy you. For the record, I wasn't over you, but I certainly am now.
But from what we've seen, it just seems like he's messing around with Tristan.
Miles is still Miles. Sneaky, underhanded, indecisive Miles. He's made out with everyone, even me.
I really feel like he's changed.
Yeah, so don't hesitate to text with any questions about my platform.
So how are we supposed to know that he's serious? Tristan has at least been shown to still be into Miles, but we didn't really get to see anything from Miles' end. Tristan never really gets any plot lines that are outside boys, especially when it comes to Miles. That's the biggest reason why his character feels especially weak to me. When he isn't worried about his relationship with other guys, he just doesn't really have much going on with him plot-wise. One of the plot lines during season 1 has Tristan trying to get over Miles by going on a date with VJ.
Ah, is that for me?
Dating someone new.
Golly gee, you're going steady, huh?
We have more of a sibling relationship.
Sure thing, sis.
Vomit. And really creepy.
Well, I have a thing for weirdos.
But it doesn't really work out.
We are so cute together. You could have been Degrassi's #1 power couple, but instead you're too busy thinking with your ding dong.
Okay.
You're not breaking up with me. I'm breaking up with you.
PJ, I'm honestly...
Too late. I've already changed our relationship status.
While we're on the subject, VJ is a character that also didn't really get any focus other than being Hunter's new friend. I don't know if he's supposed to be a main character, if he's just supposed to be a supporting character. Another plotline focuses on Tristan hooking up with other guys and he thinks that he has an STI, but it ends up being a urinary tract infection. So the whole plot is him going around telling all the guys he hooked up with that he has an STI even though he just Googled it and didn't go to a doctor. It's just not that interesting of a plotline. It's also to kind of set up Miles and Tristan getting back together, so it's whatever.
I understand what it's like to mess up. Big time, understand.
I have 0 chlamydia and 1 urinary tract infection.
Sorry. I have a free period, too. You want to grab a drink? Maybe a large cranberry juice?
That is literally what the doctor ordered.
It's weird because season 13 seemed to be setting up issues with Tristan's parents. Why didn't they just lean more into this for Tristan? We could have focused on him dealing with his distance with his family and see him struggling to deal with his parents fighting. I think it would have helped with his characterization a little bit instead of him just being there to be in relationships with other guys. Episode 1 starts off fine enough, getting us familiar with the incoming junior class and sophomores that we'll be focusing on. Maya is planning on starting a band and Zig is jealous that Jonah will be in the band because of course he is. I know he's a teenager and teens will get jealous, but we're just starting off the season and they can't even build up to this a little bit. It just feels like we're always playing it safe when it comes to Zig's character.
I can't believe that you're blowing me off for this dumb music stuff.
Okay, well, this dumb music stuff is my dream, Zig.
And it's more important than me.
Yes. Why can't you understand that?
Because you never want to hang out anymore.
Because I'm really busy.
You never want to have sex. Okay, or even talk about it.
I don't not want to have sex.
Any chance to see him as more than the guy that gets jealous and then cheats just gets pushed aside so he can constantly be put in these petty plot lines. Obviously, Degrassi has focused on love triangles before, but I do feel like in the earlier seasons, they weren't as prioritized with petty relationship drama and focused on grounded and realistic situations that teens actually went through. And somewhere along the way, Degrassi started focusing more on melodrama. I'm not sure when exactly that was, but the next class does this a lot too. I know I've already said it before, but I have to state it again because the conflict that starts between Zig and Maya is based on the fact that she needs a new guitar player for her band, and Zig plays guitar. They were in a band together, but apparently he's not good enough now.
It doesn't make you good at guitar. 'Cause actions speak louder than words.
If she didn't want to be in a band with her boyfriend, that's fine, but it just feels like a really petty reason for a conflict between Zig and Maya to start, and this goes on throughout the season. We'll get back to that in a bit. Now that the previous senior class is gone, we'll have more time to focus on the other characters that didn't really get any focus in season 13 and 14. Shay's plot in the first episode is actually one that's probably the most grounded and reminds me of the old days. Shay has a crush on Tiny and is worried about the size of her butt.
Because Tiny likes butts, and you have the butt of a 4-year-old boy. Ew. He only likes photos that feature butts. All the celebs he tweets about have dope butts. Butts with that guy.
Stop saying butts.
It's really no surprise, Shay. Butts with the new boobs.
And goes to certain lengths to make sure that Tiny doesn't find out about it. We get some funny, entertaining moments there too.
Whoa. You have to take your pants off.
What? No, I can't.
Take them off before it soaks through.
Turn around. Turn around. Upstairs chemistry isn't exciting. Come on. Let's go.
Like I said, this plotline just feels like a teenager and how they deal with insecurities around their body.
I have 0 butt, and you don't see me freaking out.
That's because you're white.
Are we allowed to talk about this?
I'm just saying it's different.
And obviously the plot is being played up because it's a show, but I still think this plotline is cute because it feels like more old Degrassi style, like they used to do in the earlier seasons. It's nothing grand, nothing spectacular, but you know, it's nice. Later on in the season, Tiny asks Shay to go to a movie. She has to work worry about what her overly strict parents will say.
Train hard, work harder, right? Don't forget play. Yeah, with my lab partner would make me smarter, right? Shaylin, you know the rules.
Girls who date are more likely to have sex.
I'm not. If he's such a good influence, I guess we should meet him.
Honestly, I wish we got to see more of Shay's maybe growing anger and resentment with her parents because they shelter her so much.
Because Shay's not allowed to date until after high school.
Because I think they were onto something with that. I just feel like Shay is a little bland, and even when she gets specific storylines, I can't say that I'm particularly interested in her as a character, but there are times where they almost get me to be interested. It just never really gets to that point for me. After she hesitates to make a move with Tiny, Lola asks if she can ask him out.
I've been in love with Tiny forever.
You never said anything.
Because you liked him. Can't imagine how hard it is to see the guy you're into someone else.
Oh, I've got a pretty good idea.
And clearly Shay is upset by this, but decides to just let Lola do it anyway.
That's me. I'm the best.
I don't really care about this plotline, to be honest. I wasn't really a big fan of Lola when she first started out the show. I thought she was going to be this bland, annoying background character, but she kind of grew on me throughout the next class. Am I the only one? Let me know what the general feeling is about Lola as a character. Her character is probably one of the reasons I wish that we got another season of the next class, because she deserved to have more time to grow and mature, and since her class would have been seniors next, we could have had more plot lines with her. Her maturity is actually one of the highlights of the show for me, and one of the things that's fairly developed for the show's short run. It makes me wish that she had more meaningful plot lines instead of just being the obstacle for Shay and Tiny's relationship. She has some great moments that show how dedicated she is of a person, especially when it comes to a serious cause, and we'll see more of that in the following seasons. For season 1, there's a plot line where Lola's exploring her body and trying to understand how to pleasure herself.
Your keychain. And it buzzes. Well, it's great for stress relief. Lo, that's a vibrator.
Do you think Tiny thinks I use it? We just started talking. How am I supposed to talk to him about that?
Again, another plot line that feels more in line with classic Degrassi, and there's even some funny moments there.
Care to share with the rest of the class?
Masturbation is a stimulation or manipulation of the genitals.
This is nothing to be embarrassed about. Now focus.
This gives us a chance to really start to know Lola without her other friends and their plot lines. Miles gets more focus outside of his relationship with Tristan, especially when it comes to his family. We know that Miles' father is abusive. We saw that in season 14. His father and his mother have been separated, and Miles is relieved that he doesn't have to live with him. When he catches his mother in the bedroom with another man, Miles thinks that his mother has moved on.
You're gonna get in trouble again because you won't own up to your irresponsible behavior.
I'm just talking with the random guy I saw you with at our house.
So this seems like it's a family matter. Maybe I should step out.
No, maybe you two will hit it off.
But clearly Miles is still angry, even thinking about that.
After everything he's put our family through, I couldn't handle that. I think I have PTSD. I want to murder that rando my mom was with.
Reasonable.
The cutting the brakes on his car might really help me heal from this trauma. Or maybe decapitation. I have some antique swords kicking around the house. I've also heard that bathing in the blood of your enemies is very therapeutic.
He's also still angry with his father and what he put him through. Things seem to be going fine enough for him, but his mother wants him to come home, and Miles starts experiencing anxiety because of that.
Whenever he's around me, Mom, I feel like I can't breathe. Okay, just don't let him back, okay?
I'm not, at least not yet.
I think Miles' characterization is fairly developed as well, showing him struggling with the abuse from his father.
I know I've let you down. I want to earn back his trust.
When were we ever a happy family? Was it when he cheated on you or when he used me as his punching bag?
Always bring up the
That was
past.
6 months ago.
I'm planning another family dinner.
Do I have a choice?
Not if you care about our family.
Season 1 paces this out well, especially since they didn't have as many episodes to work with. I think that Miles' struggles are believable and his feelings are valid. He feels like he's ignored by the world and feels like he has a right to be angry, but every time he goes to express it, he's shut down because his thoughts are seen as too dangerous.
You don't want to know how we feel. Some people ask you to express your feelings. They don't mean your actual feelings. They mean the feelings that they want you to have. People can't deal with dark or scary or weird. They want you to smile and say, yeah, I'm fine, everything's great, because then they can just go on with their boring lives and never think about you again.
I think it's interesting how Frankie and Hunter are shown kind of being indifferent to what's going on with their parents. They understand that their father is abusive, but Miles has really faced the brunt of this abuse. Hunter seems indifferent to his relationship with either of his parents, choosing to shut out his family completely through video games. Frankie is shown throughout the show to be affected by her father, and we see her acting out and struggling with her identity, and this is how she's coping with her life at the moment. She's struggling to talk with her friends about what's going on with her family. She changes her hairstyle, which Lola thinks is a cry for help.
What's wrong with you?
What do you mean, what's wrong with me?
Changing your hair is a cry for help. Everyone knows that.
You've been different since Winston broke up with you.
I just wanted a new look for this year.
Are you sure? Because you've been really sad.
I'm fine.
After breaking up with Winston, it's clear that Frankie doesn't really know who she is as a person.
I'm the only one who thinks so.
That the created
Lola and Shay end up catfishing Frankie because they're worried about her.
My friends don't understand like you do. They want me to paste on a happy face. I feel like nothing will ever be the same.
It's so dark. You wouldn't talk to us. Wanted to know what was going on with you.
I thought you might kill yourself.
Thought you didn't want to be friends with us anymore.
When she finds this out, she gets upset about it, and Jonah's just like, I don't really give a shit.
I need to practice.
My friends catfished me.
I don't care.
It's kind of nice having someone who got it. You just want me to go back to who I was before my whole life exploded? I think my friends like the old me better. I don't want new friends.
Then go talk to your old ones. Either way, can you get out of here?
She eventually talked to Shay and Lola about it.
It's just that this summer was a tidal wave of misery.
You were doing some pretty self-destructive things.
I wanted to look different because after everything I've been through, I feel different. But it's like you guys want me to go back to the same as how I was before.
We want you to be happy.
We're okay with you however you are.
I know the hair isn't working.
Oh, good, because other than that, I totally love and accept you.
I just wish Frankie was a little bit more interesting as a character, because her struggling with her identity and not knowing who she wants to be makes sense for her character's direction. Someone who's always seemed to be fine with her life, but after getting taken advantage of by a guy and ruining her relationship with Winston, it makes sense that she would be confused about her identity. I think it's also because we don't really get enough focus with Frankie's struggles with her identity, because her plot lines are mostly revolved around her relationship with guys. She struggles more with her identity as the season goes on, when her friends want her to be like she used to be. This leads to her growing relationship with Jonah, which I almost forgot about, if I'm being honest.
I wanted to be here, not with my stupid friends. I can do better.
I think you're just addicted to the drama of being miserable. And you know, everybody who comes here, they are actually trying to change. Everybody but you.
And as she starts liking him, she starts to question what she really wants.
I don't know who to be. My friends don't want me to change, but I don't feel the same. Everything was simpler last year. It was so much easier to be happy. I just wish we could go back.
I wish we could too.
She's already concerned with who she is as a person, so it makes sense to me that she would go to the dance with someone she knows is reliable. It's just the first thing that they think to do with Frankie's character when exploring her identity is to pair her up with a new guy. And I just feel like, take time, let her get to know herself a little bit. It's just that they didn't really know what else to do, so I don't blame them, honestly. Grace was introduced in season 13 as the computer whiz, you know, the stereotypical hacker character that can hack into accounts and all of that, which is fine because I like that she becomes more of a character as the show goes on. At first, she's one of the kids in the rubber room that Maya gets to know and becomes friends with. She gets closer to Zoe throughout season 14 and into the next class. At first, there's some lingering tension from what happened during Don't Look Back. Zoe is crushing on Grace.
Yeah, Grace.
And after kissing her, she doesn't know how she feels about her.
You haven't returned any of the texts. I thought you were dead.
Still alive, just busy.
Are we still friends?
Don't be an idiot.
When they start talking again, Zoe gets suspicious because Grace is hiding something from her.
Grace has cystic fibrosis.
Not the one that kills you, right?
There's only one kind. Lots of people with CF live well into their 30s. And with more and more therapies and medicines being developed, there's no reason to believe that she won't make it into her 50s.
Even when everyone doesn't really question what's going on with Grace, Zoe sees through it and tries to find out what's going on with her. Even though she's friends with Zig and Tiny and Maya, it makes sense why she wouldn't want to open up to them. With Zoe, she's been able to break down that wall, and she finally has a friend that she can talk to about her fears of dying.
Statistically, one person in this room will be in prison.
My money's on Zig.
2 will be dead. Given her badass lifestyle, I assume Grace. Here's me wearing vintage Valentino at her funeral.
You don't suck as much as most people.
Thanks, I think.
I do like Zoe and Grace's friendship because we get to see how perceptive Zoe is to Grace even when her other friends don't look too deeply into her behavior. I like that their friendship feels unique in that way. Zoe goes over to Grace's house and finds out what's been going on with her, and we finally get to see a different side to Grace, someone who's deeply afraid.
About there's no point in anything because I've got one foot in the grave.
Probably feels like everything is pointless. You're basically dead, so you might as well just kill yourself.
I'll go to med school and dedicate my life to curing CF. My whole life has been people telling me to stay positive, but no one wants to talk about how I'm going to die.
Because maybe you won't.
Because people can't handle it. In middle school, I was hospitalized for a month. In the beginning, people came to see me, but by the end, nothing. I've just accepted that there won't be anyone at my funeral. People just can't deal. I guess I thought you were different.
There are things that I like that they did to focus on specific characters. I like how supportive Zoe is to Grace, and I think it adds a layer to her characterization. It makes me feel mixed on her as a character. Zoe is still struggling with her sexuality.
Give it up. You love her.
Well, louder, please. I don't think the people in the back heard. I don't even know if I'm gay.
Right.
Friendship is basically dating without...
The good parts.
If she's not into girls, then sayonara.
That hair, those piercings. There is no way she's doing that to attract boys.
She's worried about her mother finding out, particularly because her mother is religious and has already shown that she's homophobic.
Your parents aren't strict Roman Catholics who disown you. Just wish I could find my dad and ask him what he thinks.
Her mother really seems like she cares more about how her daughter makes her look. It's clear that she doesn't really love her daughter unconditionally, and this starts to cause Zoe to spiral and feel worse about herself.
Who raised you to be so rude?
Maybe I got it from my dad.
She's not the kind of person you should be hanging out with.
What kind?
You don't want people to think you're gay.
That'd be the worst thing in the world.
You have other friends, Zoe. I'd rather you hang out with them, okay?
I think the show might be holding off on revealing that Grace is straight, leaving us wondering if she's into Zoe or not. That gets explored more as the season goes on. I remember being frustrated why they wouldn't just let us know if Grace was straight and that Zoe had no chance with her, but I think now that I've looked back on it, maybe they were holding this off as a reveal because Grace was also confused about whether or not she could see herself being with a girl.
Why is this so weird?
Because we're friends and I want it to stay that way no matter what happens.
Does that mean you want something to happen?
Never felt this close to anyone. What if it messes everything up?
I won't let it. Maybe let's forget about the pajamas.
Although we don't really focus on the confusion that Grace might have about this, it makes sense why she would have gone so far with Zoe before admitting to her that she couldn't be with her. As she gets closer to Grace, she starts to think that Grace has feelings for her too. She gets the idea to track her father down so she can have someone that would accept her for who she is. This turns out to be a complete failure when she finds out that the man she thought was her father actually wasn't.
But you should stop caring what your mom says. You can't live a lie for her.
Even if the truth makes her hate me.
It's your life, not hers. And you can only ever make yourself happy.
Hey, do you think I could call you sometime?
Absolutely not.
Grace is supportive anyway.
I have no one. No dad, an awful mother.
Your mom's not that bad.
She said I can't hang out with you. I'm all alone in this world.
No, you're not.
Oh, really? Who do I have?
Me, dummy. Girl just broke into a TV star's trailer for you.
Well, you can hear that sound. It's a heartbeat.
Obviously, Grace doesn't want to hurt Zoe, so she doesn't tell her that she doesn't like her in a romantic way, and this eventually leads to them getting physical with each other. Grace then has to admit to Zoe before things get worse that she didn't feel it.
We're the only people I trust. We can't work. I'm not gay. I tried for you. You're my best friend.
That was my first time with a girl. Maybe we did it wrong. What part didn't you like?
All of it.
No, I was there. I know what I felt. I know you felt it too. Name one guy you've ever liked.
Zach.
Zoe is also the first friend that knows about her illness and has accepted her, so it adds a layer of depth to their friendship and relationship because Grace cares a lot for maintaining that friendship. That's also why she probably goes as far as she does. But after so long, she just has to be honest with Zoe. And obviously Zoe is heartbroken by this and finds Zig at the perfect time to take advantage of his insecurities.
Whose face is on that bottle?
Just another person who will never love me the way that I love them.
I just keep picturing Jonah and her together.
I know a girl that's wanted you forever.
Well, what are you doing?
Mine's probably getting hot and heavy with Jonah. I'm here, and I want you.
Wait, are you sure?
Yes.
Maya's in New York with Jonah and Zig is worried about that, and Zoe ends up recording her and Zig having sex so she can show Grace, who was honest with her about her crush on Zig. I will admit that making Grace gay would be more predictable, so it's interesting that they decided to go in this direction. Like I mentioned before, Miles' storyline with his anxiety and substance abuse I think is the better written of the season.
Of course he's killing it using Hollingsworth, right, Dad? Damn straight winners.
Well, is he okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Loving this family time.
Miles is struggling with the fact that the man that his mother was seeing was actually his father.
I mean, you are so fixated on your dad, you can't even enjoy a spontaneous closet makeout.
Tell me how, and I'll do it. Anything to survive this stupid dinner.
And this leads to her wanting him to move back in.
What if I want that to come too?
Totally fine.
And I know we get moments where Miles' mother is trying her best, but I'm sorry. This woman really irritates me.
We're doing so well, we were getting published.
Trying to be the son that you want me to be.
You're not. You were high at school. Wait, you think this is funny?
No, you're right. This is terrible. I'm a terrible kid.
Miles eventually gets involved with Esme.
You're not welcome here.
Oh, role reversal.
You sent junk pics to my girlfriend last night.
Really good in this one.
Get that out of my face, loser.
You don't want to see what has your girlfriend so hot and bothered? Are you holding out for the real thing?
I wonder if he'll remember that.
I'll try not to repeat myself too much here, but she does play a huge role in starting conflicts throughout the next class, so I can't avoid her completely.
It's so messed up that when I'm happy, everybody sounds the alarm. What happens if I stop?
This charming young man you've been lately goes back to being a nervous mess anytime anyone whispers, Daddy.
So I'm done trying to be everyone's favorite son. If you're always a disappointment, then it's impossible to disappoint.
Esme starts out getting Miles into trouble when she cuts off some of her hair and then blames it on him.
Hunter's happy, like he's a 15-year-old girl.
Maybe they think he's changed.
People don't change.
Do you mind holding these?
Miles cut my hair. What are you doing with those scissors?
Her excuse was that she was trying to help him get out of having to meet with his father. Esme is clearly using Miles because she already sees that he has issues with his parents.
Convince my mom to dump my dad?
There are always going to be people in your life who upset you.
So I just get to feel like crap forever then?
Don't give them that power. Find a way to control your feelings.
So she helps him when he decides to sneak into his father's apartment to find evidence that he's still the same guy.
Here's an email to Andrea. This is the woman that my dad was having an affair with. He asked her to stay away from him so he could fix things at home.
Miles and Esme end up forming a codependent relationship with each other.
The one person who actually does care about me.
And she starts encouraging him to take happy pills.
Here are my happy pills.
Can't breathe.
Did you go off the pills cold turkey? I told you not to.
I feel like my heart's gonna explode.
Okay, this is a garden variety panic attack. I'll walk you through it.
He starts to do this to relieve his anxiety.
I can't believe you didn't fill your scripts this week. What if we don't find any? I lost it when I had to talk about my dad. In like an hour at my brother's gaming thing, I have to talk to him.
And I'm sure that you'll be fine.
It starts getting worse to the point where he's staying out all night, blacking out.
First, we snuck into this amazing club. They wouldn't serve us, so we swiped a bottle from the bar.
I could have died.
But you didn't. Would you rather have spent the night with Mommy and Daddy?
Obviously not.
This will take the edge off.
What's in here?
Doesn't matter.
And even this happens, which I have to admit I did find a little funny.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. You're distracting me, dude.
There's this sad scene where Miles breaks down in front of his mother, explaining why he's been taking pills.
The drugs make me better.
Miles, they're going to kill you.
Manila's have the happy little family you've always wanted, right? Yes, it is. You don't care. You brought Dad back. When I'm around him, I can't breathe, and I tell you that all the time, and you don't listen to me. And these drugs are the only way that I can make anything better, and they're the only way that I have control. I can't stop. I don't know what to do.
This seems to finally get through to her, seeing her son in such a low place. This is where he cuts Esme off because she's been enabling his behavior.
I'm an addict.
Is that what some quack told you?
I can't hang out with you anymore.
Because I'm an enabler. I know the psychobabble. You'll come back. And when you do, who knows where I'll be.
And he's also started going to therapy.
Will I ever stop missing them?
Getting better is going to take time. First step is to occupy your mind.
Your advice is to get a hobby?
Friends, someone you trust.
Well, I guess there's Esme.
The girl that got you hooked in the first place must be someone else you can trust.
Knowing that Miles would do what he could to help.
She did it because of me. Everything I touch, it's ruined. And if anything had happened to her, I just can't let her be the victim. Esme was there for me when I was at my worst. She needs my help.
She does need help, but from you or a doctor.
Esme pretends that she tried to take her own life and gets his sympathy.
You wanted me out of your life. I get a bit crazy when I'm alone with my thoughts. Everything was easier when we were together.
Let go, let go! You were ignoring me. I don't have anyone else. You're the only one who ever let me feel normal. There wasn't something that needed to be therapied out of me. Doesn't it feel like everyone wants us to be someone we're not?
Miles then explains to his mom how he wanted to start taking pills again after his encounter with Esme.
I almost did drugs today. Well, I really wanted to. Today was supposed to be a normal, easy day. I couldn't handle it. What happens if next time I don't? I want to change, but I don't think I can.
You made it through today, and I'm proud.
I do like in some aspects what they did with Miles and Tristan's relationship. I just don't think that we get enough focus on it, because there's something that I like about Miles working for Tristan's forgiveness.
Yeah, you're not going to run off with a certain female.
I'm on a strict no-Esme diet.
You don't mind doing grunt work?
It depends on the kind of grunting.
What did I say about flirting? There are boxes of snow machine equipment all over the council office. They need organizing and stacking.
Seriously, Tris, thanks.
And I like how Miles realizes that Tristan is somebody that he can trust. He never really gave the first time that they dated a real chance. I might have been too harsh when I looked at them the first time, but there are moments where I genuinely think that Tristan and Miles are cute as a couple.
I've got this amazing person in my life who supports me even though I've done a bunch of really dumb stuff.
Well, he sounds like a pretty great guy.
Well, he is the best, maybe. So there's some definite upsides to staying.
Do you want to watch this volleyball game with me? I've got presidential box seats.
Throwing popcorn and it's a date.
Maya, for the most part, is focused on starting her music career in season 1. I like this version of Maya that prioritizes her passion for music over crybaby Zig, that can't really grapple with the fact that she wants to make something of her talent. When she gets a gig at a bar, she starts to get bothered by the catcalling she experiences.
Would you mind going to the back so everyone else can hear the music?
I can stand where I want. Some girls on her period.
Hi, can he call you later? Thanks.
You can't stop me from talking on my phone, bitch.
Think again.
I'm not saying that this plotline was bad or anything, because I get what they were trying to say. There are certain things to be said about how men can make women uncomfortable with how they call out to women or when they get too pushy. It's just sometimes the way it's written can feel a little preachy at times.
I'll take a second chance on you, sweetheart.
Did I forget to mention that my mom's sitting right over there? Yeah, I'm sure you didn't mean any harm, but catcalls like that are not okay.
But it's fine because it didn't really bother me too much. But to some, I understand why it comes off that way. And also the song she writes, it's really catchy.
Hey, this is not okay.
Maya also learns more about feminism and joins Goldie's movement to get an extra girls' bathroom.
Maya, can you please tell her that I need to use this bathroom? You too, Maya?
There are 4 other perfectly good boys' bathrooms that you could use.
But I can't.
Girls have to deal with that every day. Maybe now it's your turn.
We also see Maya contemplating if she wants to be a feminist and even misunderstanding what feminism aims to accomplish.
And we're all horrible man haters. Have you ever waited in line? Not boys. With only 7-minute breaks, makes girls late for class and causes them to miss lessons and get detention. And wouldn't you say that this gives girls a worse education than boys? Yeah, I would. I have news for you, Maya Matlin. You are a feminist.
It's a fine enough plot line. I can't say that it left a deep impression on me, but for what it's worth, I do like that they go about explaining that feminism isn't about hating men, even though there are a lot of people that take it that way. Maya and Jonah go to New York to be discovered by a music producer, and she's worried about her talent when he isn't impressed with what she has to offer. This is also where we see Zig freaking out about what's happening between Jonah and Maya.
Wait, so it's just gonna be you and Jonah? I just don't trust him.
The biggest thing for me is like, why doesn't Zig trust Maya at this point? She hasn't cheated on him or given really any indication of that, but you know, they just really can't seem to think of anything else for Zig to do.
Me and Zoe fooled around. It was when you and Jonah were in New York, and it was a stupid mistake, and I hate myself for doing it. Say something.
I think you should go.
You should probably talk.
Please, just go.
Didn't they mention that he still has a distant relationship with his mother because of his involvement in the gang? They also mentioned that he has a little brother that we've never seen.
My parents blame me for stuff too. My mom kicked me out for selling drugs, hanging with guys who had guns, endangering my little brother. I'm on probation for another year, and I live in a group home. And I guess since I don't have a family, I listen to my friends a little bit too much.
You have me.
We could have seen more plot lines surrounding his relationship with his family instead of this. It would have been a lot more interesting for Zig. The times that I remember being interested in his character were the plots where we focused on his family situation and how he struggles to deal with being poor. I don't know if it's just me, but the next class makes me actively hate Zig more as the seasons go on. And I don't want to be like that because I know that he's a kid and he makes mistakes, but he just gets so annoying at times and frustrating with the decisions he makes and never really acknowledges what he did wrong.
You know, this is your fault too. You went to New York with Jonah, and you didn't even text me back.
You are not seriously blaming me for what happened.
All I'm saying is that it takes two people to screw up a relationship.
Yeah, you and Zoe.
Continuously getting into trouble, especially when it comes to Esme. There's an episode that handles consent when Zig wants to have sex with Maya, and he gets a little pushy with her.
Okay.
But come on.
Zig. Okay, I'm getting off.
Maya, come on.
Let go.
What?
Stop.
What?
Stop, Zig. Stop. Oh my god, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Eventually, he does learn to go at her pace.
Well, if we're not doing it, doesn't that mean we're gonna break up?
Are you gonna break up with me if we don't have sex?
No, because every time I try to bring it up, you make excuses.
Because I'm scared, Zig. What if I say yes and then I change my mind?
Then we'll stop. I never want to feel like I'm forcing you.
And this plot is fine, I guess, for teaching a lesson about consent, but again, I wish these moments would be moments for Zig to learn and grow. But no matter what, it feels like Zig just stays pretty stagnant as a character throughout the 4 seasons of the Next Class. Another thing they add is these new friends for Hunter, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that. However, the show acts like Hunter and Yael have been friends for a long time, even though we've never seen this character before. When you've watched everything beforehand, it can feel like you've missed something in between. It feels like the show wants to be a soft reboot and also a continuation. It's nothing major, I just thought it should be mentioned. From season 13 when he was introduced, what we've come to understand about Hunter is that he's a loner, he resents popularity.
Yes! Scored, numbnuts.
On your own net.
Like blonde hair, which triggers my fear of populars mocking me. Or meathead boy toy, who I am afraid will punch me.
He plays video games as a way to escape the pressures of being social.
This is what you're all worked up about?
I refuse to be embarrassed again. No, I get it. It's supposed to make us better at teamwork, but I already get that through playing video games.
Okay, well, until there's intramural video gaming, you're gonna have to figure something out.
The first season of the Next Class shows us how determined Hunter is to be taken seriously as a gamer.
Hey, nothing's that serious.
If I don't get that tech, then we don't go to nationals, and Boz, VJ, and Yael are pissed.
Why not just ask Dad for the money?
I can support my little games.
People would actually pay to watch because, you know, it's a sport.
Loads of people watch our live streams. We have fans.
Really? Are they here? Please, ladies, give him some space.
Especially when he tries to get it recognized as a club at school.
You want to replace sports with slouching in front of a computer.
Hit the gym like a normal person.
You promised to make Degrassi a place for everyone. Are you gonna fix it, or are you gonna keep being a stupid liar?
I think for a bit, Hunter's characterization on the show was interesting because I found his anger and aggression believable for a teen his age that doesn't know how to deal with his anger.
Where is my gaming rig?
It's been confiscated. And hand over your phone.
No, not until I deal with the Yael situation.
I'll cancel your line.
Okay, buddy, you need to calm down.
Shut up, I need to think.
You're overreacting, okay?
Stop telling me what to do.
Things seem to be going okay for Hunter after getting the gaming club recognized, but soon enough there are some complaints about the game being sexist.
From the video game competition, using the school's name and the school's money. Celebrate dudes practically murdering half-naked women. Doesn't seem right, does it?
And I'm not trying to be whatever, but this is literally how Gamergate got started.
Are shown as powerful
and notably clothed.
Those are like animals and plants and robots and stuff.
Yeah, with tons of cleave.
How's that any different from a cheerleading uniform? You do know we have a football team, right?
Your game normalizes male violence against women.
And let's ban everything that triggers anyone's fear, right? Or like your headgear, triggering my fear that you'll snap and blow us all up. Okay, everything is a trigger. Everyone's scared. That's high school.
Eventually, this leads to Hunter losing the gaming club because of his misogynistic content and some of the racist and sexist things he says when he's trying to defend his position.
Trying to make a point about irrational fear. I've got solutions, all right? Ditch the headsets. You just won't use the female characters at all.
So there's gonna be no female representation?
There's a girl on the team.
Just one.
It's not my fault that guys are better than girls at video games. Okay, that's not what I'm... Guys grow up playing video games, okay? I don't know why, but by now they're better at it. It's just reality, okay? I'm trying. I didn't design it, I just play it.
This eventually leads to Hunter and his friends bullying Maya online and even swatting her during a performance at her house.
But, yeah?
Stand on the ground, face down, do it now, face on the ground, do it now. Your hands behind your back.
Why are you doing this?
911 received a call from someone claiming to be Maya Madeline. The caller claimed they'd shot someone they're holding hostages, which is why my team was dispatched.
This creates a deep-seated anger and hatred towards the ones that shut down the gaming club.
And now it's clear those social justice warriors don't even know what they're talking about. So you guys aren't mad?
Regionals may be kaput, but we'll still follow you into any battle.
Because I think I might know our next one. Revenge.
And he goes to dangerous lengths to get back at Maya, Goldie, and the rest of the feminists.
I thought someone was coming in to kill me, and I've never been so scared in my life.
I'm sorry.
But you overreacted.
Maya wakes up every night screaming, "Don't hurt me."
Deserve what you got.
Hunter ends up finding out about the video Zoe uses to blackmail Zig and threatens to show it to Maya.
That dumb feminist kills Gamer Club and gets to go on with her happy life? Oh no, she deserves all of this.
Hunter's quest for revenge leads him to making a kill list and bringing a gun to school, leading to a lockdown.
I just wanted to make sure you're okay. Are you okay? Listen, I know the last few days have been tough. You're not alone. Okay, no matter what, you'll always have me. I love you. I know I don't always show it, but I do.
Thankfully, he didn't end up hurting anyone, and I think it's because the show wants to explore what happens when a teen has this type of anger and aggression.
Who knows what's gonna happen to me because of the swatting?
So Maya should live in fear every day? Is that what you think?
This isn't about her. This is about correcting a social injustice.
Answer the question.
Get away! I'm sorry. You need to go. Now!
They didn't want to have the character go too far because they still want us to be sympathetic towards Hunter, so I understand the decision that was made there.
Are we really gonna hurt those people? I don't know. You can't tell anyone.
During the lockdown, Maya confronts Zoe about what she did with Zig.
Sorry.
You're the worst. Can't believe Grace was ever your friend.
I think I took care of that.
Why, Zig?
He was there. He was easy. Didn't exactly say no.
He kissed you back. Then what? Why won't you tell me?
Because I don't want to see the look on your face when I do.
And although Zoe is honest with Maya, it doesn't change what she did in order to hurt Grace, who also did find out about this and kept it from Maya.
You're letting that torment Maya because you're a disgusting horn dog. Who are you really worried about, Maya or yourself?
Because Grace is in this tough spot where she doesn't want to hurt Maya because she's her friend, and she doesn't want Zig to end up hurt, and she's also angry with Zig, and she also likes him, so it's just a complicated thing for her. As season 1 ends, Maya considers giving Zig another chance, so we're left up in the air about whether they'll get back together. Miles is working on his recovery, and we're left wondering what will happen with Hunter. Season 2 continues by focusing on Hunter and his worsening mental health. After Miles announces that he's going to boarding school,
Vanderbilt Prep also has tons of amazing sports teams, plus lots of new guys and girls.
Have fun with your new life.
Don't be like that. We hung out all winter break. Come on, we're going for a drive. Besides, how am I going to leave you my car if I don't teach you to drive stick? Seriously, I don't joke about the convertible.
things seem fine enough on the surface for him to leave.
The shoulder pats, speeches about staying calm. You're trying to make sure I don't go off the deep end. I didn't actually do anything. I'm fine, I swear. And to prove it, I'm prepared to give you one hug.
Why don't you save that for when I leave?
Deal.
That is until Hunter drives his car into the bus stop at Degrassi.
But I know if he actually had a weapon, there's no way he'd be taking off.
No, of course not. No, he's totally fine. I talked to him about everything.
I'm glad.
Anyway, I came to say goodbye to you, not to talk about my doofus brother.
I thought you came for your file.
Hunter!
It might not be much, but I do love how protective Miles is of Hunter during this.
I think he was trying to hurt himself or other people. I found this in his room.
This isn't...
Kill list.
I have to call your father. We have to get a doctor for your brother.
If you want it, I can help.
No, it's okay, sweetheart. It's not your responsibility. Thank you for telling me.
Maybe it's because I'm the oldest, so I can empathize with Miles' decision to end up staying instead of going to boarding school.
I thought the whole point of boarding school was to get away from the things that triggered you, your dad and Esme.
Yeah, he needs me to stay more than I need to go. I'll be okay.
I probably wouldn't be able to leave my sibling while they're going through an emotional crisis.
I told you not to start the car.
Maybe you shouldn't have left me alone.
You crashed the car on purpose. Do something crazy every time you're upset.
Hunter, what do you care? You're leaving.
And it makes sense to me why he decides to stay. Also, they're not just gonna have Miles end up leaving the show, so... After this, Hunter is brought to a mental health facility when Miles tells their mother about Hunter's kill list.
This is a mental health facility.
having me committed.
It's called a psychiatric hold. We can't ignore the fact that you brought a weapon to school.
You told her? I had to. I'm gonna kill you. It's just a figure of speech.
Well, you need help, sweetheart. I know this is scary, but we are doing it for you.
He doesn't understand anything about mental health, meaning he has a very narrow perspective of people with mental health and emotional issues, and probably has a stereotypical image of people suffering from these problems.
I don't belong here. This place is full of crazy people. It's with the bars on the windows. And no belts or shoelaces. Do they seriously think I'm gonna hurt myself the first chance I get? You have to get me out of here. I'll do whatever you say. I'll be good, I promise.
Sorry.
He lets his anger get the better of him, especially when things aren't going his way.
It's your fault I'm in this hellmouth, and now you're also gonna let me freeze to death.
Hunter, stop!
And has a hard time managing his anger when he doesn't have control.
I'm pissed off.
Depression can manifest in different ways. Sometimes mad equals sad.
What is that Dr. Seuss crap? Stop talking to me like I'm a crazy person. I'm not sick and I'm not crazy. Stop saying it. Stop it!
Do you think this is a normal response?
I don't care! I don't care! I don't care!
I like that the show takes time to acknowledge that anger may be a sign of depression, and a lot of people might not even be aware of this.
I'm sick. Depression.
You never seem sad.
No, but I'm angry. It's another way people can be depressed. I also think I have something called oppositional defiant disorder.
I also like how Hunter wants to work on making things right with his friends, especially Yael.
When you got mad at me about the trolling, I wanted to hurt you too. I'm so sorry.
Do you still want to hurt me?
No, never. Not you or anyone else. Do you hate me?
No.
Are you scared of me?
I don't think so. I'm gonna need to take some time to think about things.
After being able to talk it through, he's able to reflect on his actions and his feelings.
Sometimes when I'm angry, I want to hurt people. I want to get better.
And shows genuine remorse for how he treated others.
You know that story about that guy who has to roll the same boulder up the hill every day? That's how I feel. Every day is this huge struggle. And even when I do get it to the top, it just rolls back down again, crushing me.
But what I can do is help you come up with ways to make the boulder smaller or new ways to get it up the hill.
Thanks for everything.
Even though it is short, we do get moments where we get to see Hunter recovering, and it seems like he's learning to deal with his anger better.
Thanks for these comics. Thanks for visiting. Reading the same dumb gossip magazines every day was driving me insane. Get it? Insane? Something I learned in group therapy is that not everyone thinks the same as me. Lots of people are into really stupid stuff.
I wish we could have gotten more focus on Hunter's struggles with mental health, because after this season, we don't really focus much on Hunter's mental health struggles or follow up to that. In my opinion, Hunter doesn't really have any meaningful plot lines after this. The rest of the series focuses on his relationship with Yael.
Do you like me, Hunter?
You honestly don't know. My life is a train wreck. I didn't want to pull you into it. Besides, I didn't know if you liked me.
I do. What if this messes up our friendship?
It already has.
Yael also gets mad at Hunter, who won't be clear about his feelings.
So it's not a real date. Whatever. Baz is just happy any dumb girl said yes to him.
So now I'm any dumb girl?
So you're actually taking this seriously. So what, you're gonna like kiss him or something?
I like boys. Would that bother you?
Your lips, do what you will with.
You don't care?
Why would I?
We see that Hunter's worried about dating them.
Dude, you just got out of psychiatric hospital. You were diagnosed with depression and ODD.
That's not fair, okay? He's better.
For now, but he's basically just a ticking time bomb. He could still go to juvie for the swatting.
Get out. Now!
Don't listen to them, okay?
You too.
Hunter.
Go!
And it shows that he has a level of awareness about his anger. Miles ends up encouraging Hunter to talk to Yael, which is a nice scene where we can see that he's supporting his brother, while also trying to help him realize that he can learn from his mistakes.
She's like this amazingly badass girl, and I'm a head case who will probably be in juvie next year. I don't want to hurt her. I nearly lost it when she was here. I still see her shrink 3 times a week. Why would anyone want to date me?
I didn't think I deserved to be happy either. You didn't choose to be built the way you are. You can only be the best hunter you can be.
That is seriously cheesy, bro.
Doesn't make it any less true.
And it's a nice step that he talks to Yael about his feelings and worries of being in a relationship.
I'm scared I was gonna do something crazy. I heard you once. I don't ever want to do that again. So you need to promise to me if I ever scare you, you run and never look back.
I'm a little scared right now.
I wish there was more to say about them as a couple, but unfortunately they don't really give us enough time to leave an impression. There's more focus on Yael outside of their relationship with Hunter, like when they competed with Buzz and VJ for Best Designed App. They end up learning that they don't want an app fueled by drama for clicks.
If I lose, I have to go on a date with Baz.
We must crush them. Like it or not, scandal sells. Maybe you should give the masses what they want.
I made some compromises that made me question my integrity, and winning like that just wouldn't be winning at all. I guess I owe you a date.
Let's sync our calendar, shall we?
Clever.
This plotline's fine, it just doesn't really stand out that much, but it's a good introduction to Yael outside of Hunter's plotlines. Another ongoing storyline throughout the season focuses on the volleyball team. After a prank by a rival school,
No! Breaking up! Looking good, Degrassi!
Well, this is no fun.
you know what is fun? Revenge.
Frankie comes up with an idea for a prank without understanding the historical context of why the school is called the zoo.
I just wanted to show everyone that I'm not racist. I really hate the idea of people seeing me that way. I only drew the gorilla because your school is called the zoo.
People call us that because we're a poor crime-ridden area. They're calling us animals.
I didn't know that. It's not how I meant it, so I'm clearly not racist, right? Can you please just tell everyone that I understand now? Really didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings, and I'm really sorry you felt offended.
Frankie is accused of being racist, and this causes the other teams to refuse to play Degrassi.
You drew me as a monk, and actually it was a gorilla. Northern Tech doesn't play against racists.
He tries to make things right by having a diversity mixer, but Frankie ends up making it worse.
My race matters to me. It's what I live every day. Let me finish, please. I really think we can work this out. We all evolved from monkeys, so when you think about it, we're family.
Do you have any idea what it felt like seeing that hanging from my own school? No, of course she doesn't.
I am so sick of being made out to be the villain. I think we're done here.
I think one of us is done.
I've already talked about this storyline before, but there are things I like about it and things that could have been written better. I think the way the season is paced, having Frankie slowly learn what she did was wrong and work on her friendship with Shay is good. Frankie eventually gets kicked off the volleyball team, and for a while Frankie refuses to see why what she did was racist.
I mean, what's so bad about monkeys anyway? I bet I totally could have avoided this entire thing if I just paid attention in art class. And you explained that it wasn't racist, right?
Except it kind of was.
Seriously?
Whether you meant it that way or not, it hurt people. If we let you stay on the team, it makes it seem like we're okay with it. Like, I'm okay with it and I'm not.
Do you really think that of me?
I think you made a really big mistake. A mistake is not my job to fix.
Okay, so what do I do?
I think you have to quit, Franks.
But eventually she does realize her own prejudice and makes the effort to reconcile with Shay.
I am so sorry for the prank I organized against Northern Tech and for everything I did afterwards. The cartoon I drew was racist. I should have apologized and admitted I was wrong instead of trying to defend my actions. Sorry it took me so long to apologize. I was worried you wouldn't accept it, and we could never be friends again.
It is weird that Frankie is the one that really gets the brunt of this when the whole team did participate in this. I understand what the show was trying to say, I just think that this could have been written better, because there's something definitely to be said about this.
What I did was racist. I didn't understand, but now I do.
You can play. Full well stolen. Thanks. Did I have a choice?
She's sorry, what else do you want?
The world to be a better place? I'm just sick of always having to be the bigger person. Aren't you?
At times it does feel like it's a little all over the place with what it's trying to say, because we all do have biases, even if we don't want to admit that.
Maybe they hate me because I'm white.
Yes, white people are so oppressed. I'm supposed to be able to calm them down because I'm black?
Reverse racism is not a thing, but white privilege is.
Because I'm white, things come easy for me?
No, it's just you've never had to deal with microaggression. Like, people always asking if you have an arranged marriage.
Wait, do you?
Case in point.
Okay, so because I'm white and evil.
You just can't possibly know what it's like to live with a legacy of prejudice.
I tried apologizing and they wouldn't listen to me.
You just kept cutting them off and defending yourself.
Because I was being attacked.
I think focusing so much on Frankie's perspective and not as much on Shay's, aside from a few scenes that show how she feels about it, but it's never like we get Shay's deep feelings about the situation. At certain points she's angry with Frankie, and I think we might focus on how deeply she was hurt by what happened.
I'm not the problem. They're the ones who are being unreasonable. It's those people.
Those people? I used to think that you were a good person who accidentally made a mistake, but everyone's right. You're straight up racist.
I am not a racist. Listen, I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
But it doesn't really ever get to that point. At times it just feels like information about racism is being dumped onto Shay.
Comparing black people, monkeys, has a really long, messed up history. People thought that if we were more monkey than human, we didn't deserve rights or freedoms.
Why don't they think it's a big deal?
Ignorance, probably. People who haven't experienced racism in their lives can have a hard time seeing this stuff.
So should I be mad at them?
If it bothers you and you want to speak up, I'd be proud.
Some of this information, I'm just thinking, wouldn't she kind of understand the context of this by now? I also understand that Shay has been sheltered to a certain degree, probably going to predominantly white schools.
Of course they asked you to talk. I am one of the captains.
Then where's your other white co-captain? We want the people who are actually responsible to own up.
Come on, it was just a joke.
Is it just a joke when people ask how many baby daddies I have? It's no excuse.
I know. It just wasn't meant to be racist.
So what? You should be just as offended, if not more. You should figure out why you think it's okay to be on a team of racists.
So it makes sense why this information might be new for her. Certain schools don't teach about complexities of racism throughout history, so it makes sense to me, to a certain degree, why so many are ignorant to what exactly was bad about the drawing.
We're not racist. That school is called the zoo. I don't know if it's the best idea for me to go anyway.
You drew it.
The whole thing was kind of my idea. Just please don't tell anyone, okay? You know I'm not racist, right?
Yeah, of course I do.
Shay is used to having to work harder for things she wants and can't really afford to mess up by getting involved with prank wars.
Things aren't the same for you as they are for me. Because you're rich. This is my dream. Do you have any idea how much private coaches cost? I can't afford to make any mistakes.
And I can?
Yes! Your dad is the mayor! You can go to any school you want. You don't have to worry about scholarships, but I have one route, and I could not mess it up. It's not the easiest to admit that I'm jealous of my best friend.
I can relate to Shay in this way, having to always consider my decisions because I didn't always have an easy way to achieve the things that I wanted.
I let it go. Am I saying it's okay to to be racist as long as you're sorry. I feel like I've lost so much this year. Sports camp, best friend.
Dopest guy in school.
I'm tired of losing. I just don't know what to do.
Follow your heart, Shay.
Shay is similar in that way that she has to consider her behavior and how that will make her look at all times.
All year I've tried to do the right thing, but what do I get in return?
Text him.
Are you still have feelings?
Summer's coming and show me to keep away at the beach.
Frankie continues to run away from everything, not wanting to admit that she might have held her own biases towards the girls from the other school.
Well, people were so horrible.
After everything, you still honestly think that you're the victim?
I tried to make things better, but everyone still hates me, so what else am I supposed to do?
Apologize.
For what?
For jeopardizing our relationship because now your mother thinks I'm some kind of sex-crazed delinquent. And for hurting people with that stupid racist stunt.
So you think I'm racist too?
Frankie, I think that you don't get it, and I think that you're not trying to get it.
I have heard some criticisms about the way in which Frankie realizes her own prejudice.
You okay?
Yeah, just a little bit of car trouble.
I can help you change that if you'd like.
No, that's okay. I think I'll manage. Wait, actually, yes, please.
Sure.
But I do think the scene establishes something important about why Frankie initially reacts to a black man the way that she does. If he were white, would she react the same way?
I'm done making excuses. I'm done expecting people to feel sorry for me. I have to do better. That it'll make a difference with my friends.
You got to the right place eventually, even if it took you a while.
That's what the scene is trying to achieve, and for that, I'm not going to criticize it too much. I will say that there are moments where Shay is conflicted on what the right thing to do is. When she is told she has to apologize for participating in a protest,
I want to assure you that my actions at a recent protest were impulsive mistakes, which I regret. I assure you that it won't happen again. I would appreciate the opportunity to prove that I have learned from my mistakes. This lack of judgment is one that I take as a learning experience. I recognize my failure and promise, if chosen as a candidate, I will think before I act, and always act with integrity and respect. I turned them down. I can't apologize for what we did, what I believe in, and I can't give up the option to fight again. I'll just have to find another way onto the national team.
the Tiny, Shay, Lola love triangle continues during the season.
Maybe you should go to the doctor.
Go see my homeopath.
He needs science, not wizard's magic. Go to the doctor.
Who do you think cares about you more? Shay or me? Your girlfriend.
Lola refuses to leave Tinder, a dating app, when she's afraid of getting too serious with Tiny, so she breaks up with him before realizing that she wants to take the next step in their relationship.
Because that's what I was afraid of. You dumped me.
So Tinder was what? Your foot out of the door?
Ever since my mom took off, I've been afraid of people leaving me. If I put all my eggs in your basket, what happens to me if you leave? Being afraid of making a connection was making me lose out on all kinds of amazing stuff.
After Tiny gets into a fight on school property, he gets suspended, and this leads into a discussion as to why Tiny was suspended.
This isn't just about Tiny. It's about how this school treats someone like Tiny differently than someone like Frankie Holmes.
She got kicked off the volleyball team.
But it doesn't exactly go on her permanent record.
Little white girls always get special treatment. If you don't think that racism is a problem at Degrassi, then prove it.
Learning that kids of color get suspended at higher rates. So Lola organized an entire protest for Tiny during the Degrassi reunion.
Oh, and what's the adorable high school issue du jour?
My boyfriend was suspended for 5 days for fighting. Simpson says it's because of that zero tolerance policy or whatever, but that shouldn't apply to knights in shining armor.
I'm gonna sit too.
At least maybe be friends.
No, you can't do this now.
Are you denying their right to protest? Mind if I join?
Guess you didn't consider every last detail.
Which I've already mentioned feeling underwhelmed by, but I also like how Lola is willing to go so far to make her point.
If you do it quietly.
If we do that, no one will hear us.
No, chill, okay?
Let's go.
We have every right to do this.
Can you muzzle this one?
Are you calling my friend a dog?
You all need to move. Now.
Not until you apologize.
If we're not allowed to be loud enough, then we just need another way to get our message inside.
Although I do think the reason for Tiny being suspended should have been handled better, because I don't really think that Simpson was being racist.
Did you suspend Tiny because he's black?
What? Of course not.
Because you know your zero tolerance policy is apparently very flawed.
I can't take away your boyfriend's suspension.
What if it was unfair?
Look, I've asked you nicely.
No, I just want the truth.
The truth is, Tiny got into a fight and he got suspended. There's nothing more to say about the subject.
I just think he saw a student fighting on school property and suspended him, but I get what the show was trying to say.
This is bigger than just you. Tiny, I don't know how to say this, but it turns out that sometimes at school, you might be treated differently because you're black.
You brought that up with the principal? Seriously?
Yeah, because I care about you, but he basically just told me to get lost.
If it were another teacher, maybe it would be different. It's just hard for me to believe that Simpson would suspend Tiny for that reason.
And that's why we don't think the zero tolerance policy should be used anymore.
Well, I truly don't believe it's been applied unfairly here. But if there are concerns, then you're right. We should look into it and we should talk about it. On Monday, we'll form a student committee to review the policy and maybe give a report to the school board.
For what it's worth, it's nice to see some old faces.
Going deep into the blue, I will rescue you.
I can't believe it's the same school, man. Everyone's so much better looking.
Well, that's inappropriate for a number of reasons.
I was talking about you two, Dad.
I love how close Paige and Spinner still are.
You're the girl from the side.
Spin, we both made a lot of mistakes when we went here. I dated him, for instance.
Hey! No, it's fair. I did a lot of dumb stuff. I kind of cheated on you. Kind of got my best friend shot.
If you're gonna make mistakes, this is a great place to do it, as long as you learn from them.
Yeah, there's a lot of love in these halls. And I feel like I can hug just being back here.
No. If you're a good person, Degrassi always seems to give you a second chance.
Or third, or fourth, or what, 500?
I'm glad that Marco and Paige stage made up.
We don't have to bother these nice girls, Marco.
I just listened to a podcast about it. It's seriously flawed.
Oh, I wouldn't get him started, hon.
3 times more likely to be exempt from the policy than a non-white student, 6 times for girls.
Those stats are still bonkers.
That's why I keep telling you, you gotta listen to that podcast.
Okay, don't make me slap you.
Please. I love your hair.
I love that we get to see Mo, Emma, Liberty, and Holly J.
In my day, we had protests, but over like reopening a garden, not the serious stuff they're talking about outside.
Liberty, hey, how are you? Stepdad didn't tell you his school had a major problem?
No, it didn't come up when Spinner and I were there for Sunday dinner. What's the deal? I love your passion. You know, I went topless for a protest when I went here.
Did it work? I don't think that's what this one's about, though.
And I'm glad that they were able to still celebrate their 500th episode.
Alumni versus teachers ultimate frisbee, right on. I'm only the captain of my team in law school. Liberty,
Hi. Holly J. Sinclair, as in the former student council president, pretty much my idol.
Feels like 500 years since I was last year.
And also no Manny, which is just a tragedy.
Your speech will now come after Terry McGrath.
And Manny's not on here anymore. I was actually looking forward to hearing her sing.
Yeah, her song was kind of a downer.
So you booted them? Wow, I'm sure it'll be great.
I like that Peter and Craig are still working with students at Degrassi.
That one track's really something. I was talking about, what's it called? Yes. It's a really beautiful love song for someone so young. It's about your ex, isn't it? Rough stuff. Sorry. You're obviously talented. There's a rough track on there. Mix it, make it sound awesome. Impress me, gig is yours.
I can't wait to show you what I can do.
It really makes me happy to see older characters that come back in nice ways like this. It's not overbearing, it just makes sense. Also, I kinda don't like this line from Peter here.
I probably can't do this. What happens if we get tagged in a photo? I want to get into politics one day. It's too risky. He's right. I basically just got this job at the studio and I work with a lot of black guys.
And just when I think, oh, maybe the Tiny and Lola relationship has a meaningful place to go.
Thanks for fighting for me.
Whatever, you fought for me too, remember? Now we're even.
Like 2 episodes later, he breaks up with her after waking up from surgery.
I really like you. I also have feelings for someone else.
So you're breaking up with me?
Past 8 months have been so much fun.
Message received. No, I'm no one's second choice. You may not be breaking up with me, but I'm sure as hell breaking up with you.
That's how quick they wanted to get rid of this relationship. I already knew that it was inevitable that he would end up dating Shay, but it just feels so fast and sudden the way he breaks up with her. After everything that Lola just did to prove how much Tiny meant to her.
I led a protest today. I mean, where else could I do that? I felt like my boyfriend was being treated fairly. That was scary. Sure, it's scary to talk about racism, I get it. If any school can, I think it's us.
It just sucks that they ended the relationship like this. Maya doesn't have too much going on this season. We focus on her progressing her music career and realizing she doesn't want to get back with Zig, and it makes sense for me. Part of her thinks she needs Zig.
Maybe this is the universe telling me I should be with him.
The Zig you wrote that song about is the same Zig who cheated on you.
I guess I thought I could ignore the feelings until they went away.
Get back to work on that mix.
Oh, Peter will understand. He's chill. That really looks like his arm.
You need to chill and focus on this giant opportunity.
But once she gets recognition for her talent, you see how her demeanor changes around Zig.
Even though my track was rough, he said it was still the best, and he wants me to polish it and get a 10 by tomorrow. I still have a chance.
That's amazing.
I wish the show took more of an opportunity to focus on Zig and who he is without having a girlfriend.
And you cheated on me. Now I don't know how I feel anymore.
Just let me fix this.
It's just too hard, Zig. Just not ready.
Will you ever be?
Anything's possible.
But soon after he breaks up with Maya, he meets Esme when she helps him with an audition.
I dance with a troupe. We do a few shows a month. It's not much money, but it's kind of a summer job. You don't even have to get naked for the audition.
And Esme and Zig's relationship is just a disaster. But we'll get more into that in season 3 and 4. There's another subplot with Maya where VJ's doing covers of her song.
You're saying he could be more successful than me?
Only if he finds his voice and writes songs. You gotta play nice with everyone. You really nailed his voice.
No, it's just something we whipped off in a couple of hours.
Well, that's a skill too. Yeah, but maybe I can get you in on some songwriting sessions over the summer. Wouldn't that be better? Just promise you don't forget me when you're like super famous, okay?
And that's the most that VJ gets to have going on for him as a character, really. He's more of a background character than an actual character. The plotline isn't really anything either, so it's fine. There's also another plotline where Maya starts getting close to Peter after Zig and Grace start hanging out more.
Never meant anything between us. You meant between you and Mr. Manscruff over here. Okay, I'm gonna go.
All I think about when I look at you is, why should I be the one to chill when he's the one who messed up? Okay, why do I have to be the one to put on a smile, pretend like everything's okay, and just be friends already? That is so not fair.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Peter and Sav are brought back for a few episodes. We see Spinner. You know, it's nice. I have nothing to really complain about there.
My wife and I are buying a house. At least we're trying to. Everything's going from 50 to 100 over asking, so.
If you need to borrow cash, my mom lent me some cab money.
50 to 100,000.
Things get awkward when Maya ends up in a recording studio and she hears Peter say this.
We're broken up. I can hang out with whoever I want.
What, so you are trying to sleep with her?
What? I didn't even invite her. Honestly, she just showed up. It's kind of weird. Oh, crap, Maya. Hey, let me help you. You're missing a shoe.
Keep it. Happy birthday. See you at work next week, coworker.
It kind of feels like they don't have as much for Maya to do this season, but her storyline gets more interesting in season 3 and 4. Now that it's been revealed that Grace likes Zig, we see how she's insecure with how she looks.
With your perfect hair and your perfect eyes and your perfect body that guys go gaga over. You wanna know who the guy is? Zig. but he nearly barfed when I kissed him. Turns out I'm the only girl at Degrassi that he won't hook up with.
She starts questioning the way she dresses and starts experimenting with different styles.
Did you have a mental breakdown or something?
Question mark?
Go to hell.
If this is the new you, that's cool. The old you is awesome too.
I worked so hard not to let other people get to me about this stuff. What if I only push people away and one day it's too late?
Don't change unless it's for yourself.
I like that we also get a focus on Grace's insecurities and how she's viewed by others because it always seemed like she never cared, but it's interesting that we learn something new about her.
But do you think it pushes people away? I just wonder if I'm missing out on experiences because people assume things about me, that I'm always ready for a funeral or whatever. I don't want people to not talk to me or think about me certain ways just because of how I look.
Grace and Zoe are also not talking because of what Zoe did in the previous season.
Your boyfriend cheated on you with a notorious psychopath.
I'm sorry, we can't all be perfect friends like you, Grace.
That'll be $20.
For a keg party?
Price just jumped to 25.
And because of this, none of her other friends know about her illness, and she ends up passing out at a party.
I don't feel good. Oh crap.
Everyone's circling around her, not knowing what to do. Zoe rushes to Grace's side and tells them to take her to the hospital.
What happened? What are you guys doing? She needs to go to the hospital, now. She has some pretty serious health problems. Trust me, I know that's not an easy thing to do, but this is important, please.
This is when she finally opens up to Maya about her disease.
Sucks, feeling like I don't have anybody.
What about the girl that stayed behind to see if you're okay? As long as you keep your condition a secret from your friends, you will feel alone.
That was so scary. I'm so glad Zoe told us to bring you to the hospital.
Zoe? Did she tell you why? I have cystic fibrosis. It's a genetic disease, which I've been dealing with my whole life.
I wish that we got more focus on Grace and her illness. There is focus on it, but her plot lines feel so few and far between because they have to balance so many plot lines in the span of 10 episodes. And I haven't even talked about the characters that barely get plot lines or don't get any plot lines at all. After Miles decides to stay at Degrassi, he and Tristan get back together. When Miles and Tristan have to take care of a fake baby and share the responsibility, Tristan worries that he can't rely on Miles. These plot lines at least try to course correct the relationship, and it does seem like Miles genuinely wants to make it work and take the next step with Tristan.
It's a symbol of our relationship. Look, I just wanted to prove that you weren't going to do that thing that you always do, but maybe that was stupid because maybe that's just the way you are.
Which shows development on Miles' end, actually showing Tristan that he can rely on him. There is a plotline that focuses on Tristan and Miles taking the next step in their relationship.
I just get paranoid about screwing things up with you, and I don't want to put on too much pressure or whatever.
Is that what all that talk about the future was? I know I'm not the best at planning, but I'm not going anywhere. I worry about messing up our relationship too, you know.
We're in a relationship?
Hope so. Are we?
Sounds good to me.
Tristan worries after learning how many girls Miles has been with.
How many people have you been with?
It's 5. Well, it's Zoe last summer. Tristan.
This game is childish.
Miles thinks that he can fix things if he just has sex with Tristan, when obviously it isn't that simple.
Right.
You're obviously weirded out that I've done more than you, so let's fix that.
Are you saying there's something wrong with me because I haven't had sex?
No, I'm saying it's no big deal.
Maybe for a man whore.
Oh, jeez.
Don't worry, he's fully charged.
And this comes from the idea that losing your virginity makes you somehow more adult or more mature.
Because you make it seem like if you haven't had sex, you're some kind of loser.
Great, I know how to fix it. I'll just have sex with them.
It's that easy, huh?
We're 2 teenage boys who like each other. I don't think it'll be that hard to figure out.
They eventually talk it out and Tristan voices his insecurities with Miles.
If you can't handle my past, then
Sorry if I don't want to be just another conquest on your exotic list of hookups.
If you're so uncomfortable with me being more experienced than you, then why don't you go sleep with a couple guys and then come back to me? I want to be with you. You're the one that freaked out and ran as soon as you heard my number.
I want to feel like I matter more than anyone else on there.
And Miles also gets to open up to Tristan about his worries.
There's lots to think about.
Got condoms.
It's not just that. Do you think it hurts?
Depends on... See, this is getting awkward. This is why we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, but aren't you glad we're talking now?
You know, the list of people that I've been in love with is a lot shorter.
I love you too.
Even though I'm not a huge fan of Tristan as a character, I do think that he starts to become a little bit more likable toward the end of the series, which is unfortunate because by the time I started to notice that Tristan had matured a little bit more, we didn't have time to focus on his character, especially since he was in a coma for the majority of season 3. This season also focuses on Zoe's growing internalized homophobia.
I'm not gay.
I love you, Zoe, but you're a terrible liar.
I'm not a lesbian. I don't want to be. I always pictured a big wedding and kids and...
You can be gay and have all those
It
things.
just seems so hard. I don't want to have to be like you. I just want to be normal.
Live in the closet all you want, but don't put your self-hatred on me.
And she eventually starts self-harming. As she hides the fact that she likes girls, it gets harder to fight it.
Then you'll just have to kiss me. It has to be a real kiss. And that's when I pull you in close and then... Whoa. I have to go.
When she isn't called for a callback by Winston, Zoe ends up pretending that she likes Winston in order to get the part.
Why do you like me?
Because you're awesome. You're smart, funny, you don't take any crap, and it doesn't hurt that you're really, really pretty. You're basically like the perfect girl, and what did you do that for?
We like each other?
So are you my girlfriend now?
Yeah.
and to also convince herself that she can have a normal relationship with a guy.
I'm not about labels. I'm going to be the person that I want to be. He likes the best version of me, and that's what's going to make me happy.
I do like the developing friendship between her and Winston, even though we don't get a lot of it.
So don't do villain stuff. That's the old Zoe, the scary Zoe. You're better than that. You're sweet.
Think I'm sweet?
Let's redo the project, starting with a real apology. We can still destroy Esme, but with kindness.
He's really nice and sweet.
How come everyone jumped down Zoe's throat for playing a geisha, but no one cared that I was playing Japanese? Well, is it because I'm Asian? There's only one kind of Asian? Because I'm sure you know Korean and Japanese aren't the same.
No one's ever stood up for me like that.
I don't like seeing people treat you badly.
We make a good team.
And I feel bad for Winston that he's just being used by Zoe the whole season, thinking that they're in a relationship, thinking that it's gonna go somewhere.
Some of us aren't just looking to score a quick thrill and move on. Some of us are looking to fall in love. You think maybe we could do some kissing and not telling?
After getting attention from a video featuring her and Winston,
I bet we can get just as many likes in half the time. Hold this. You're the videographer.
A little more.
Oh my gosh.
Lady?
Hate those things. Are you okay? Hashtag love hurts. You two are toast.
Shane Dawson is referenced. Take with that what you will.
Shane Dawson reposted our video and now it's blowing up like crazy.
And I just want to let you know that I, Liberty Van Fett, am choosing you to be my new object of affection.
That happened, and we all let it happen.
Zoe starts to prioritize likes over her relationship with Winston.
I was thinking you were actually excited about our date.
And we're the #1 post if you search relationship goals.
I don't believe we're an awesome couple unless the whole internet tells you it's true.
Which has been an ongoing conflict since Zoe isn't really invested in her relationship with Winston in a romantic way, and is only really using him to appear straight.
Because you're too scared to admit what's really going on. You're gay, and you're using this fake relationship with Winston to cover it up.
The out and proud thing works for you, but not for me. I'm trying to be happy.
You're just desperate for attention.
Desperate? That's a little rich coming from you.
Okay, Zoe, go ahead. Do that thing you do where you hurt people to push them away. How far are you willing to go?
Winston, understandably, is confused and angry with her because she doesn't seem to care about their relationship, but he still apologizes when he thinks he went too far.
I shouldn't have left dinner.
Sorry, too. I would never hurt you just for likes.
You know, it feels good when people tell you that you're awesome. I jeweled in myself. It's for all our future selfies that are guaranteed to go viral.
You just see how much Winston is trying to make the relationship with Zoe work, and it's sweet that he does so much to try to win her affection, but you also see at times that he does suspect that something is wrong with Zoe.
I know I probably like you more than you like me. I think it's crazy that you're even going out with me. It feels like you may not be into this. Am I doing something wrong?
No.
Then is there something wrong with you?
Not in the mood.
You never are. I'm just worried there's a problem.
Yeah, my horn dog boyfriend and his pervy fantasies. I'm sorry. That was a joke.
So is whatever this relationship is.
Part of him is just glad that a girl like her would date him, so he ignores the signs that something is up.
Accidentally clicked a tab.
That stuff's messed up.
Yeah, I guess.
Zoe and Grace talk after Zoe helped Grace at the party.
Why are you being so nice to me?
I don't know, maybe because you saved my life.
I was the only one who knew about your CF.
I told Maya. Probably tells Zig and Tiny too.
You work so hard to keep it a secret.
Life's too short to keep pushing people away, especially mine.
And Grace catches on to the fact that Zoe is hurting herself.
Is this you? Are you hurting yourself? Show me your leg.
Whatever, lots of people do it.
That doesn't make it okay. Self-harm is serious. It'd be a lot easier to come out than to keep pushing people away.
So some stupid girl can break my heart again? Besides, I'm not gay. I have a boyfriend.
Yeah, until you push him away too.
Things get worse when Zoe pushes herself to be with Winston and eventually leads to her breaking down in front of him.
You okay?
I'm fine.
Whoa, stop. Stop!
Why are you being weird? This is what you wanted, isn't it?
No, this is not normal.
Because I'm not normal. Okay.
Again, like I said, Winston is so supportive even after finding out that Zoe couldn't be with him.
You hate me.
Of course not. You can't choose who you are.
I thought I could do it. Tried so hard.
Is that why you were hurting yourself?
Grace offered to help, pushed her away. We can still be friends.
When you come out, you clarify I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Zoe has struggled this whole time with how people view her, especially how her mother would see her if she came out to her. So to have this one person just accept the fact that she's gay was really a nice moment for the show. I don't want it to come off like I hate Zoe completely as a character, because there are things that I find about her character that are relatable. Dealing with low self-worth and just feeling so filled with self-hatred.
I used to care what everyone thought about me too, especially my dad.
Then what happened?
It made me realize that if you care too much about what other people think, you just end up hurting yourself. The only people who matter to me now are the people who actually like me for me.
Nobody likes me for me.
So just forget other people's definitions. Be the person you want to be.
Zoe also has experienced trauma, and I don't think I acknowledge that as much. People have different ways of coping with trauma, and I'm not excusing her actions either, because I stand by the fact that I wish that we could have seen more of a natural progression of growth for her character, but I don't think she's the worst character written in all of existence either. It seems that a lot of people are mixed with her character, but I try to be fair when looking at how a character was written over time.
You believe I want to kiss guys, right? I only liked Grace because I thought she liked me back.
So you're suffering from fatally low self-esteem? Yeah, being gay is way better than that.
This time I focused on non-romancy things, like landing this part and kicking butt at the gala.
Winston being supportive was something she needed, especially because she was already at a breaking point with herself. So I do think that it was a step in the right direction for Zoe's character. I just wish we had more time to watch her grow, but I blame that more on the number of episodes that they had to work with. So I want to cut them some slack with the bigger cast as well. It's just interesting to see why some characters don't feel fully realized like others do. And a part of that has to do with the way a character is written, whether they have a strong enough personality, are their storylines interesting, what are the characters' struggles, how do they interact with other characters, and other things like that. Zoe's personality was never the problem, but a lot of people are mixed on her character, and that mainly has to do with her actions. Some of the characters in the next class have a stronger presence than others, and I think that has a lot to do with focus, but the writers did the best that they could with the amount of time given. As the season comes to a close, we find out that the bus that never made it to the game was in a crash.
The bus with the Degrassi fans.
It crashed.
Who was on the bus? Grace.
Tristan, Zig, Maya.
Jonah. Tiny. Maybe the crash wasn't that serious.
This looks pretty serious.
A number of students are being rushed to hospital and
Just don't worry. It'll be okay. It has to be okay.
We get a montage in the beginning of the season showing us multiple characters in the hospital, skipping over the immediate aftermath of the crash.
Even when it appears as though nothing's happening, tissue repairs itself, and the heart keeps beating. Emotional scars can be more difficult to heal. Renewing old friendships, joyful moments, or trying new things, make us feel like we're doing something, even if we feel helpless. Through it all, as long as our hearts keep beating, we survive.
I understand why they did this, because they wanted us to start a new school year. They wanted to get us caught up with everything. I think with the 10 episode per season order, they thought it would be better to just start a new school year. We learned that Tristan is in a coma and Miles is struggling to deal with it.
June 5th, I watched the doctors carve a hole into my boyfriend's skull.
Miles, take that down.
Have you ever loved somebody so much that you just wish you could take all the pain? Because if you haven't, then it's impossible for you to understand how much it is important that we don't just give up on Tristan.
You're a sadist.
Just because everybody leaves you doesn't mean he's leaving me, okay?
Hey!
Everyone already accepted what happened.
We have some complaints about your posts, and people found them upsetting. And after the bus crash, everyone's trying their best to heal. I just want to avoid anything triggering, Miles.
Okay, but look, regardless, this time is good news.
Right, yes, that's great. So why don't you tell your friends in person, and you can see the happy reaction on their faces instead of on a screen, okay?
Did you really grab my hand?
It's common for coma patients to exhibit that kind of auto response.
Do they think that he's going to be normal again?
They think that 10 weeks is a long time to be in a coma at this level.
And Miles doesn't really have any way of being able to express his pain.
Apparently, my updates about my boyfriend's health were just maybe getting a bit too much for the delicate flowers. My boyfriend nearly died.
It means it was sad to watch you delude yourself all summer.
Oh, he's getting better. He squeezed my hand while I was reading to him.
You want like this? Probably some leftover signals in the nervous system. Involuntary.
The doctors were all over it. Why would they lie?
So you don't off yourself?
And there are some genuinely hard moments to watch for this show. Like this scene, I don't think I can watch without actually getting choked up.
Is there a point to me being here at all? I feel like I'm just talking to a corpse. I don't want to leave you. Come back to me, Tristan. Wake up. Come on. Wake up. Wake up. Come on. I know you can. Wake up. Wake up.
Lola isn't completely over Tiny and admittedly does something petty like posting an old picture of her and Tiny, but I don't blame her. He was her first serious relationship and she's clearly still angry with Shay to a certain degree, even though she still wants to be her friend. It gets to a point where there's a mock trial in class about what Lola did, which is admittedly entertaining.
Did you ask your BFF if you could post a picture of you with her boyfriend?
Objection. Relevance?
Your Honor, I'm just trying to prove an element of emotional damage.
Sustained, I guess?
Perhaps because you wanted to evoke reaction from her.
No, I just thought we looked cute.
Because you still have feelings for him.
Because you stole him from me. Go to hell.
After this, she ends up getting close to Miles.
There's no such thing as a safe space for everyone.
No kidding. We're hurting and we're not allowed to talk about our pain because it makes them uncomfortable. We have to care about everyone's feelings. Unless our feelings are hurting their feelings, then we're not allowed to have any feelings.
Yeah, it's crap.
Exactly.
Both of them don't really have anybody to talk to about their circumstances, and they're able to make each other forget about their problems and just send funny photos to each other.
You can talk to me about Tristan all you want, as long as I can talk to you about Tiny. I'm so glad I found someone who understands my grief.
I do kind of like the development of Lola and Miles' relationship. Not as much in a romantic sense, but I think they could have had a friendship too if the show had more time to develop a friendship between them. After everything, that would have been nice. When Esme tries to upset Miles, he claps back at her, and I love it when other characters say something to shut her up.
Oh, and our deepest condolences for our dear friend Tristan. Is he still with us? I figured since you developed a taste for that Argentinian spice.
Look, I know you have no personal experience to corroborate this, but not every encounter between a guy and a girl ends at home base.
Things get heated when a game of Never Have I Ever gets Shay insecure about how inexperienced she is.
Never have I ever had sex.
Never have I ever hooked up in a pool.
Never have I ever fooled around with someone I wasn't in love with.
Oh, yeah, right. What about that time with girl? Oh, sorry, not in front of the girlfriend.
No, what's that about?
Things are gonna get interesting.
Of course, Esme is right there to start trouble.
You don't have to worry if you're meeting Tiny's needs. Maybe you should run along and meet the grown-ups alone. I dare you to spend 7 minutes in heaven with Shay.
I'm claustrophobic.
Okay then, Lola.
What? No.
You don't trust your man, Shay?
You got yourself a jealous one there, Tiny.
You know what? Go ahead. It's no big deal, right?
Right.
There is some underlying tension between Shay and Lola this season because of how things ended with Lola and Tiny.
Never have I ever ditched my best friend for my boyfriend who I stole from her anyway. Drink up, Shay. So all you want to do is talk about your boyfriend, so let's talk about him.
Never have I ever dated someone even though I knew my friend liked him first. You just don't like it that you're single and I'm not.
Please, as if.
Lola's feeling lonely because her friends are hanging out with their boyfriends more. In one of the episodes, there's like a small party at the Hollingsworth's house, and Lola and Tiny go into a closet for 7 minutes.
I've always thought it was pretty nice to spend time with.
Quality time is important for couples.
And it's not for friends. I'm everyone's second choice.
That's crazy. You're a great girl.
So great you dumped me from your best friend.
I am sorry about that.
We used to have so much fun together.
There's got to be at least one guy out there who'll appreciate that.
Shay gets defensive when she sees them coming out of the closet and escalates the situation.
Did you kiss? Guess she'll give you what I want.
She was upset. I hugged her. It's not a crime to want to hook up with my girlfriend.
So you do want sex. You know, I thought you were different.
So you only like me when I'm the perfect science student?
But this isn't you.
Don't tell me who I am.
Lola eventually goes into Miles' room and they have sex.
Because I like you. And I tried not to, but I do. And I'm worried if we spend too much time together, I do something that will get us both in trouble.
Like what?
After this, Miles struggles with what the right thing to do is. He has feelings for Lola, but also loves Tristan.
Your boyfriend is in a coma and you're doing favors for the first pretty thing that walks by?
So I have to spend every second by his bed?
No one is saying that, but would you really be spending this much time with Lola if Tris was awake?
Like, you're there every night, best friend.
The biggest thing for me about this storyline is that it doesn't really have room to breathe. There's so many things that happen right after each other because it has to try to fit it all in one season. Miles and Lola become friends so fast. Then they have sex, then she becomes pregnant soon after this, then she gets an abortion, and then Tristan wakes up from his coma, so things get more complicated.
He doesn't understand the world around him.
But I need him to. The hard part's supposed to be over.
And all of this has to happen within 10 episodes. So I never really have time to get genuinely invested in this storyline because it just feels like it's so rushed through. But there's something there because Miles' pain and his struggle with dealing with Tristan in a coma, that's real. The way he's acting to deal with this makes sense to me. Zoe is now the school president.
You still haven't told your mom.
She just got engaged and she's so proud when I won that election.
You'll have to tell her eventually.
But right now I need to focus on making everything great for the new school year. Then I'll tell her.
And Degrassi is welcoming new refugees from Syria.
We need to celebrate our differences. I'm gay. I've always been afraid to say it, and I'm not anymore. I want this place to be a safe space where everyone feels free to be themselves. Welcome to Degrassi.
Which I think is an interesting plot line to add to the show. This is where we get introduced to Saad and Rasha.
This is Rasha. She's staying with her family.
Hi. You're the one who put the Queer Students Club in the same room as the Muslim player space? That would never have happened in Syria. Very cool.
Zoe wants to be welcoming towards the new students, and she comes out to everyone to make peace with the LGBT club and the new Syrian students.
No one has a problem with gay people anymore.
We have a problem with gay people?
Because they're more intolerant, they get the better room? Is our student council seriously just a bunch of cowardly homophobes?
I'm gay. The LGBT community have already won their fights. Can we just focus on making the newcomers feel at home?
Rasha is introduced mainly to be Zoe's love interest.
Figured out that coffee means date here. I like you.
I like you too. I didn't know we were gay.
I can't be out.
Mom is super Catholic. We can at least give it a shot, right?
Let's make it a double shot of espresso.
But she does get some characterization, so I'll give the show that.
That was supposed to be a Zoe night.
But to explain that to Goldie, I'd have to come out to Goldie, and I'm not ready to do that.
Despite the horrors she's witnessed, she seems to be relatively optimistic, and her personality makes her endearing at times.
I'm in the play. I'm in the play.
We just need a
scheme. Schemes are my favorite. He looks happy. Is that good? Do you think I got the part? Okay, he's almost here. Act normal. Shut up! A sing-along screening of High School Musical. This is already so perfect.
I mean, come on, she likes High School Musical.
Enough said.
She just didn't really have enough time to be her own individual character. She, like a lot of characters on the show, are a victim to the 10 episodes per season runtime, and it really shows in the final 2 seasons. She does have a plotline where she wants to play the male lead in Miles' play because she resonates with him.
We were supposed to grab dinner. You were here in this bed 3 months and a day, and every day I've been here talking to you. But can you hear me? Was that okay? Should I try it differently?
No, that was fine. We'll be in touch.
And she goes out of her way to prove she can play the role, which gives us a chance to get to know Rasha as a character. Zoe, of course, supports Rasha.
I'm never going to be helped. She's a fantasy, and I'm not. I wanted to be hero because I relate to him. I feel his pain.
Why shouldn't you get a boy part?
And she ends up getting the role in the play after confronting Miles.
Look, I didn't want to embarrass you. Like, you've clearly been through a lot.
I didn't escape the fighting squad so I could be treated like an idiot.
Look, I was just trying to be nice.
You know what would have been nice? Telling me so I could audition for the right role.
Female lead. We're doing another session today.
How am I supposed to learn a whole new set of lines by this afternoon?
Like you said, you didn't want to be treated differently.
Who, by the way, literally just inserts himself into his own play, which is kind of funny.
Someone who understands the material should play hero. Me.
There's more focus on Goldie this season and her relationship with her religion. I know it might come off as preachy or campy at times, but I do like the more nuanced discussions around racism in the next class.
How long have you lived here?
My whole life.
I'm sorry, I thought...
That brown people can't be from here or just Muslims.
Okay, chill. It was an innocent mistake.
Is it a mistake? When people ask if I'm bald under here or think I know about suicide bombers, there are 1.6 billion Muslims in the world and they're all different.
I'm very sorry, Goldie.
Thank you.
Even if I don't always agree with the way it's written or handled, I think the show does do a good job overall getting the point of the message across in a way that allows people to question their own way of thinking.
So do suicide bombers, for example, think that they're honorable?
Why would I have the inside scoop on suicide bombers?
Well, aren't they mostly Muslim?
Islam does not condone killing.
Well, I don't see any G.I. Joes strapping bombs to their chest.
Instead, they drop them from drones, and calling suicide bombers Muslim is an insult to Muslims everywhere.
Which I think is something that should be acknowledged. Goldie and Rasha form a friendship over their experiences with being Muslim, but Goldie also learns how Rasha has a different understanding of what it means to be Muslim.
You took off your hijab, and I tried to too because I just really wanted us to be friends. But if I'm being honest, I never felt like myself wearing it. I didn't wear it back home. I'll always be Muslim whether I touch a boy's hand or not. For me, it's different. Every single day feels like a choice between the culture here and my faith. And if you break any rules, you feel like you're not Muslim anymore.
After a discussion about the Quran and homosexuality, Goldie begins to question what kind of Muslim she wants to be.
I can't touch boys. It's against my beliefs. One touch leads to another, so...
What does the Quran say about being gay?
There are many interpretations. The most common one is that it's a sin.
So I'm a sinner.
You don't think a high five really matters, do you? Yeah, I do. Because I'm a good Muslim.
So if someone doesn't follow every rule in the Quran as you see it, they're a bad Muslim.
Yeah, I guess.
And she eventually tries walking around without a hijab. I think this scene is done well because we see how at first Goldie feels fine, but as she enters a crowd of people, she feels more anxious and puts her hijab back on because she feels more comfortable with it.
But you see now, maybe I'm
Degrassi has never really shown deep exploration from the perspective of a student who is Muslim.
Whoa, sorry, Rash, I didn't realize you didn't have your job on.
I thought I finally found a friend who's just like me. Ugh, I'm so sick of feeling different from everybody else. Where do I compromise? If a high five is okay, is a hug, or even a kiss? At what point do I even stop being a practicing Muslim?
And showing Goldie feeling insecure with her relationship to her religion is an interesting direction for her character. And I think it's a good introduction for us as the audience to learn more about this character that's already been on the show for 2 seasons. Saad is a character also traumatized by war, and unlike Rasha, he's clearly more standoffish and antisocial.
Hey, that creep just took a picture of us. Creep!
Give it back!
He just take photos of people with it.
Having a harder time adapting to life in a different country, and he can't easily forget what he's experienced. And this is why he likes photography so much, so he can artistically express his suffering. He doesn't have anyone to talk to and keeps to himself.
Did you know them? Is this Syria?
Doma, near Damascus. When they came, everyone was separated. Men were shot, women and girls were taken. People were dying all around me.
People keep dying around me too. I guess we're the lucky ones, because that's what everybody keeps telling me.
And that's what catches Maya's attention.
Ever since the crash, I felt numb. And I thought if I just kept smiling, I'd feel better. But I didn't, until I saw your photos. They make me feel something, and I just want to keep feeling. That's why I need you to take more.
They start staging photos together of disturbing imagery, and this is how both of them are dealing with their trauma. Taking pictures for Saad is proof that the trauma he experienced was real, and I think Maya also joining him and taking pictures like this makes him feel less alone.
He killed himself. They never told me how. Then my bandmate got in a texting and driving accident, and there was the bus crash. When I went to visit Tristan in the hospital, all I could think was that he was there because I exist.
How did he look after the crash?
Sort of like this.
Throughout the season, Maya struggles to deal with the trauma of the bus crash, and the only way she can really deal with this is doom scrolling, which a lot of us, I imagine, have been a victim to. There's a good scene in the beginning of the season where she's on her phone just looking at disaster after disaster, and before she knows it, it's morning. All she's been doing is consuming negativity.
I want to be my boyfriend's babysitter for the rest of my life. What am I supposed to do?
You can kill yourself.
Wow, you got dark. I don't know how to protect him and still be happy.
You should do what you can to find some okayness in your life.
And that makes her feel even more hopeless and negative.
Maya, Mine goes off big time.
I do think about death.
As someone with a fatal genetic disease, yes, I do think about it.
I was up all night and I saw a video of a girl our age getting. Why her? Why not us?
It makes sense that she starts to take photos with Saad with more disturbing imagery. Throughout the season, Maya has a hard time doing the things that she used to like doing.
You already missed most of week 1. You don't want to get behind.
Oh.
The doctor said you looked okay. You must be feeling a little better.
A little.
Some fresh air will probably do you good.
I'll rise, but I can't promise any shining.
Are you okay?
Definitely not.
Do you maybe want to talk to somebody?
Okay, well, I'll be fine.
Even when Maya talks about her feelings to her counselor,
It still feels like I'm being pulled underwater with no way to get to the surface.
her feelings are kind of downplayed. She just tries to distract her with university things.
I know it can seem hard. And there's a light at the end of the tunnel. University. Everything that you check off that list will bring you closer to the surface.
And although her guidance counselor means well, clearly there's something deeper going on with her.
I can't do it anymore.
Do what? Anything. I know you want the old Maya back, but I can't find her. I don't think she's there anymore. I tried. I really tried. There's something seriously wrong with me. I'm really scared.
She starts acting on these thoughts, imagining that she'll get hit by a car.
Is everything all right?
I don't know.
We've been hanging out every day, and now you don't return my texts.
My mom thinks you're the reason I messed up.
But you said our pictures made you feel better.
They made me feel something. Maybe it wasn't the right thing.
Or keeps herself underwater as long as she can. She shows less of an interest in music.
I was in a bus crash at the end of last year. I broke my wrist.
Have you been writing about it?
I've just been a bit blocked lately.
At SoCal Art, you'll be expected to write through the writer's block.
That won't be a problem.
I hope not. You're very talented, Maya, but to be a great songwriter, you have to keep writing.
Even when Grace tries to get her to help with Miles' play, she doesn't really care and doesn't really seem upset when she's told that she doesn't have to do anything for the play anymore. She ends up more prioritized with taking photos with Saad. Zig and Esme's relationship deepens and she starts to get worried about what he thinks of her.
I don't care what anyone says about me. Your opinion was the only one that mattered.
When she sees how his friends talk about her.
Make sure you get her the jumbo slurpee because she's thirsty.
Hey, I didn't write that
Yeah,
stuff.
but you wrote this one. As long as I don't wife her, what's wrong with some extra third base action?
Those are just jokes.
About me. Who's next?
Oh my god, should we put a stop to this?
Should I do it right here? Unconventional, but
no.
We also learn more about Esme's circumstances when she opens up to Zig.
Did you know I've been in and out of therapy my entire life? Because when I was 10, my mom killed herself and I found her. And maybe I took too long to call 911 or I shook her the wrong way, but after a few weeks in the hospital, she died. Dad still kind of blames me.
Is that why you reacted to those hospital pictures of Tristan?
So that brought me back, yeah.
Frankie and Jonah have relationship issues. I mean, did anyone really think this relationship was going to last long? Jonah thinks she's immature, and I'm not the biggest Frankie defender, but I do think that the show had moments where we saw Frankie mature at least a little bit. But this plotline isn't as interesting because it focuses on a couple that I didn't really have much interest in from the beginning, and they haven't really done enough to make me completely interested in Jonah as a character. And Frankie has some moments, but also fails to be particularly interesting to me. She eventually tries to prove her maturity to Jonah by having sex with him. She gets worried when he won't have sex with her, and she's worried because she thinks the reason is Grace.
So it's just that you don't want to do it with me.
No, Frankie, back when I was doing it, I wasn't a good guy. And I don't want to rush things and risk ruining what we have.
After taking a little bit of a break, Frankie worries that Jonah doesn't want to get back together and finds out that he's been in Narcotic Anonymous.
Tower of Creamers.
Frankie, you need to leave.
We know each other from NA. I just needed an emerge vent session.
NA?
It's Narcotics Anonymous.
Oh, right. Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna leave now. Possibly forever.
It just shows how Jonah can't really talk about things with Frankie because he doesn't think she's mature enough to handle things. In some cases, he is right. She immediately thinks he's cheating when she sees him with another girl and then buys him a guitar, and this behavior is just not the right way to go about a serious relationship. Obviously, she's a teenager, so she's still navigating that. Because of Frankie's expectations and worries about every detail of her relationship, Jonah is left not knowing what he can really do, so she trusts him.
When you wouldn't have sex with me, it hurt my feelings.
Seems like everything I do hurts your feelings. I care about you, Frankie. I just don't know how to prove it.
Even though she's with Jonah, Frankie has never really figured out what she wants or who she wants to be as a person.
I like you, but I'm not sure I like myself right now. Being in a relationship seems to do something weird to me, and I shouldn't be freaking out over every little thing, and it's not good for me as a human person. We need a break.
And because of that, she doesn't know what she wants in a boyfriend either. And she doesn't know who she is without a boyfriend. She decides to take a longer break from dating Jonah. He eventually finds out that Frankie hacked into his account and has been reading his messages.
I didn't know what you were thinking, so technically I did it for us.
All year, you second-guessed my feelings for you, and I liked you enough to give it a pass. This is a huge violation of my trust. I'm done. And just to be clear, this is a breakup.
I have to go home and change my passwords.
And he actually breaks up with her. Shay doesn't particularly stand out as a character, as I've already mentioned, at least to me, and this season isn't really an exception to that. She has a plot line where she has a period mishap and bleeds on Tiny, which is really embarrassing.
You brought your monthly visitor to practice. Cute.
No.
Does anybody else smell a butcher shop?
Whoa, someone's prepared. That's what I always liked about you, Shay. Always willing to go with the flow.
But instead of feeling insecure about the fact that it happened, she ultimately decides to own it after getting back at Esme for making comments.
The more enthalpies of fusion.
What the hell? Do you know how much this skirt cost me?
I mean, she embarrassed me.
You're the one embarrassed about having a vagina!
That's enough, Esme.
There's nothing wrong with this subplot since it's a teen situation that I'm sure some can relate to.
Why do periods make us so weird? We have to stop letting it affect us.
Tired of being grossed up by my own body. Doesn't that stop me from doing anything?
If I made you feel gross.
I did that to myself. Is it Shark Week already?
That's actually kind of funny.
I know that Yael isn't particularly that deeply explored or stands out the most, but I do find them somewhat relatable in certain aspects.
This is really gonna make me more appealing to girls? Yeah. It's like I'm wearing a mask. Yeah, a mask that says, I put on love for today, so come hang out. Why wouldn't people just want to hang out with me for me? I don't know, but don't you want to do what's best for the show?
After wanting to be inclusive to different audiences, Yael, Boz, Hunter, and VJ all do different style content on their channel, and Yael is expected to do the makeup content.
We agreed on this. Hunter reviews comics, VJ does song covers, you get movies, and I do games.
We have to give the girls someone to identify with.
I don't know the first thing about these subjects.
And they're clearly bothered by this because that's not really what they're into, which I can relate to completely.
Mascara is dripping into my eyes, and for what? You know why girls can't get ahead? Because they spend upwards of like 2 hours every day doing this. Okay, that's like 1/10 of their waking life. I mean, who cares about nail polish or makeup? It's also stupid. Those who care about this are stupid too.
Even though I identify as a woman, I'm not always into feminine things, and sometimes that makes it harder to get along with other girls because of that. So it makes sense why Yael would have this perspective.
You betrayed womankind. I was defending womankind from unfair beauty standards. What's wrong with spending a little time on yourself? It's the patriarchy oppressing you. I don't do it for boys. No, you do it because you like how boys look at you when you wear it. So you do it at home, alone? Yeah, I do it all the time. If it makes me feel good, then what's the problem? Because girls like you are ruining it for the rest of us.
I do like how they come to a compromise by bringing Lola on to do the makeup content.
So what, we're gonna make Yael do a vlog that isn't the real her?
I thought you liked that other me.
I like you better when you're yourself.
And I've come to realize that there's more than just one kind of girl, and I'm just not that kind.
Even though that you can see on multiple occasions that Yael is insecure with Lola being a part of the friend group. I also like Lola and Yael's friendship because they support each other during their struggles, like when Yael supports Lola when she wants to get an abortion, and when Lola helps Yael figure out how they want to express themselves when they start feeling confused about their identity. There's also another plot line that shows how Hunter and Yael's relationship is causing problems in the friend group.
Having a guy's night.
What could you be doing that I can't be around for? I'm waiting.
We were gonna watch porn.
What kind? Your kind or your kind?
All of them.
At times, Yael is kind of the outsider because they're seen as a girl, so at times they are excluded in the friend group.
Now that we're dating, I'm in some other category. It's not like I have a bunch of other people that I can go hang out with.
It's just hard to know when you're my friend and when you're my girlfriend.
I can be both.
When the rest of the guys literally get into a dick measuring contest and offers to measure for them, which isn't something I'd offer to do, but...
Didn't me tell you not to come because we were gonna...
Don't do it.
Measure our penises.
I mean, go for it. I don't want to stand in the way of scientific exploration.
What? No.
Oh, come on. Don't you need somebody to adjudicate?
And obviously, Yael can't really relate to that. Hunter also can't really open up to Yael in the same way since they're dating. I guess Yael is so used to hanging out with the guys that they never really had those moments where they feel like a boundary has been crossed.
All right, it's first.
Because they aren't a guy, and it's interesting to see how casual they are about it.
No wonder women do ridiculous things to their bodies if they think that this is what men want.
Maybe we should turn it off.
No, there is no way that is comfortable for her. As usual, it's all about the guy's pleasure.
Something that most girls would probably never offer to do and would be self-conscious about. I'm not sure if this was intentional from the start, but I think it's interesting when you understand later how Yael doesn't identify as a girl. Honestly, I wish that Boz got more time to be focused on because I think he's kind of funny at times.
Now, kiss me. Hurry up, Grace is looking this way. You seriously thought this was a real date? This is awkward. If things don't work out with Grace, you're totally like my third choice.
Just take me home.
No way, she's totally vulnerable.
The winner is Babs.
Yes, I knew it! USA! USA!
We've created a monster.
USA!
He's also shown to be serious on occasion.
You think you're so much better than me with your hair and your girlfriend. You're not even allowed to date. You have no idea how lucky you are. Seriously. You have all this money, girlfriend, and you take it all for granted. You don't have to wear a hijab to be Muslim. Mom and dad don't make you wear it. It's your choice. It's also a giant billboard that says, I'm different. Fitting in is hard enough. Why make it harder?
He's kind of got that autistic personality thing going on.
It takes real courage to dress like you're actively trying to repel male. I mean, it's commendable that you let your wardrobe tell everybody, I've got extreme damage.
You should probably run.
True.
Just negging you.
By insulting a woman, you can undermine her self-confidence.
If you want a girl to like you, talk to her like a human person.
Is that what's happening right now?
Seriously.
He's not anything deep, but it would have been nice to see him get his own plotline that gets to show him in a more serious way. As far as VJ goes, I can't really like him. He's a little too annoying for my taste.
What STI did you give me, Tristan? How can you do this to me? Just tell me how bad it is. I'm gonna die.
Later on, when Hunter ends up getting hard in front of Lola.
You don't think I look blurred in these shots, do you?
Hey, fine to me.
Oh, here. Oh, I'm so sorry, my bad.
It's okay, Ashley, I've got it.
Oh my gosh, what is that? Why is that? This has never happened, I won't say anything.
He's afraid to talk to Yael about the situation because they're dating.
When we were editing, she kind of brushed my... The Force Awakens? What if Yael finds out we're suddenly all anti-Lola? Yael's gonna notice.
Like I said before, Yael still wants to have the same relationship they always had with Hunter when they were friends.
I got a boner for Lola. It just kind of happened. She was standing too close to me and
Okay.
it was an involuntary biological reaction. It didn't mean anything.
Except that it made you lie to me.
And they're in this period of the relationship where they're trying to navigate the boundaries of the relationship.
You and I were best friends. We used to tell each other everything. You and the guys and I used to joke about boners all the time. I mean, they're objectively funny.
This one was embarrassing.
Share that with me too. I mean, you told Baz, for God's sake. Don't shut me out just because we're dating.
Also, what the hell is with this comment?
I'm not jealous of Lola, okay? I know you have better taste than that.
Excuse me, I will have no Lola slander here. Yeah, they're definitely jealous of her.
But I should probably give her a camera tutorial, right?
Hunter admits that he shouldn't have lied to them.
When I do something dumb, should I? The truth? Keep it a secret. Tell you. Get that now. Still yes. I don't want to be an idiot anymore.
Grace's last major plot line was from season 2. She doesn't get any focus again until the 7th episode of the 3rd season. This is a perfect example of how some of the characters get plot lines that are so few and far between each other. Grace isn't the only character that has this issue. With 2 additional characters they have to introduce this season, it makes sense why she would only get 1 plot line for the season. When she worries about getting a surgery that could extend her life expectancy.
Half the CF patients who receive new lungs live past 10 years.
I survived the operation.
The danger is in your body rejecting the new organs.
This makes no sense. I don't feel any more sick than normal. What if I say no?
Without a transplant, I believe you'll live another 3 years.
So my choices are 3 crappy years or a 50-50 shot at 10? Want to toss in an electric chair, save ourselves the trouble.
She doesn't know what the right decision is and gets emotional support from Jonah.
The doctor gave me 3 years if I don't get a transplant.
Well, you're getting it, right?
So I could trade them for 10 years of anti-rejection meds.
10 years? You could
Pick out a really nice casket.
That's not funny.
It's kind of funny. So what should I do? Rehearsal, school? Those hardly seem important when you're gonna die.
We're taking the afternoon off.
I like that we get to see the continuing worry that Grace has with her disease and losing her life because of it, that she would put off having surgery.
Who will I even go through all that for?
For Grace, I hear she's all right.
I'll get to live long enough to see my friends get jobs and do all the things I'll never get to do.
It's living what scares you.
Next, you're gonna say that if I live another 10 years, science will come up with a miracle cure.
Without the transplant, you will never find out.
Grace has also noticed that Maya's been distant, so she knows that she can't really get support from her. After catching her taking photos with Saad, she gets freaked out by her behavior and even blocks Maya after that.
Oh my God, Maya! What the hell?
It's just a photo shoot.
You bailed on me for this? I needed you, and here you are pretending to be dead.
These photos are fronting death, showing that it can be beautiful.
Death is not beautiful, it's final!
Don't yell at her!
Who the hell are you? Look at me. Right now, I'm barely living.
Grace is someone that wants to live even if she pretends that she doesn't, because it makes it easier to cope with her disease if she just expects less. So it makes sense that Maya's behavior would also start to make her feel unsettled, because she sees someone that doesn't even have this disease valuing her life so little. There seems to be less focus on Zoe this season.
It's always just been the 2 of us. The only family I have.
You're not thinking about hurting yourself again, are you?
I won't put them back in that closet. Can't make the QSA hide. I have to be a good president for everyone. If there's an actual conflict, we can talk about it then.
Most of the season is developing her relationship with Rasha.
You'll probably just forget about dating me. I'm too complicated. I'm ruining everything. But you're gorgeous, you're fearless.
I was afraid to ask you out for weeks. Escaped war. You came all the way here to start a whole new life. You're the fearless one.
There isn't much focus on anything else until the end of the season, after Rasha and Zoe start dating and her mother ends up catching her kissing Rasha. It is not so happy about it.
Zoe.
Mom.
Forgot your books in the car.
Zoe wants to come out to her mother, so she uses Rasha to make her mother angry and brings her to her mother's wedding anyway.
Stop it.
I'm not gonna pretend to be someone I'm not. Not for you, not for anyone.
Dare turn this around on me. I have done everything.
Except love me for who I am.
I love you despite who you are. You bring this girl to my wedding after I said no? You're so selfish.
You're the one who can't get over her stupid prejudices for her own daughter.
Okay.
Upsetting Rasha in the process.
Well, I wanted you there.
But not your mom, not your family.
What does that matter?
I was invited to my aunt's for a party. The police arrived to question me. She had reported me for being gay. You put me in a situation where people hated me for being who I am.
Look, I'm not the bad guy here.
I don't trust you.
All Zoe wants is to be accepted by her mother.
You don't want to out yourself in front of the relatives because you're not gay. Your hair, The way you dress, you're just confused. Don't worry, someday you will meet Mr. Right and you'll forget all about this little face.
Say something.
You got the bouquet. It's almost time.
Yes, I'll go get it.
Even though she has the support of her friends, she wants the security of a familial bond.
Think she'll ever forgive me? I thought if she saw us together, she'd be able to finally accept me. I never wanted to hurt anyone.
I know, dude.
No, I have nothing. No one.
So now I'm nobody? I spoke to my mom. You can stay with us for as long as you want. Come on, let's go home.
I wish we had more time to explore Zoe's relationship with her mother because her low self-worth really stems from her mother being so distant with her, and we don't get enough time to really know more of that. I think it's interesting that things are left unresolved between Zoe and her mother, but I wish we got more focus on the relationship before the show ended so we could really feel that impact. After Lola takes a pregnancy test and it comes back positive, she lies at first because she's afraid of her friends judging her. As Yael and Lola are giving their presentation, Lola ends up revealing her search history to the class.
Lola. Oh my god.
I already mentioned it, but I like how Yael is able to support Lola getting an abortion without judging her.
It's just a stupid project. It's worth 50% of her grade. What could be more important than that? I'm getting an abortion. Do you have somebody to go with you? Call an Uber.
It might be because Yael doesn't know Lola as much as Frankie and Shay, which makes it easier to tell Lola to do what she thinks is the right decision.
You know, I didn't just decide to get an abortion. I've thought about it a lot. My dad's great, but super traditional. I'm not ready to be a mom, and there's no way I'm walking around school pregnant for 9 months. I decided 2 weeks ago when I thought I might be pregnant. I just want this to be over with so that I can get on with my life.
Then maybe there's your answer.
This is where a nice friendship starts between them, and even though there isn't much, I still like how they help each other out. After Lola gets an abortion, she feels relieved. I like the process of how they show Lola feeling conflicted because she doesn't really feel sad like she thinks she should.
And afterwards, how will I feel emotionally?
Some women feel a sense of loss, others relief.
Whatever your choice, I'm here.
Am I the first 16-year-old you've ever done this to?
You're not the first today. You ready?
And it shows that some people might feel less emotional about getting an abortion than others. Miles ends up finding out about this, but we don't really get to see much focus on how he feels about knowing what happened.
He shared the story for abortion online. Franks. The whole point of the video was to own it. You should check it out. Are you ever gonna tell us who the dad is?
No, I'm taking that one to the grave.
As the season comes to a close, Miles wants to tell Tristan the truth about what happened with Lola, but also doesn't want to lose him, and he doesn't want him to think that he doesn't care about him.
You do. Once I get these roofs touched up, I love you. Don't ever doubt that.
Tristan works on being able to come see Miles play and picks up on the truth through the story. I mean, it's not like Miles was being subtle about it. Miles says how he still loves Tristan, and Tristan says the first word to him since he's come out of a coma.
I hooked up with Lola, Tristan. I'm so sorry. I thought that the doctors thought that you weren't going to make
it. I know. Between that video she posted and the play, it's kind of obvious. Who do you want to be with?
You. You saw the play, Tris. I know that it sounds messed up, but everything was about you. Even Lola. Okay?
Although it's a nice scene, for some reason I wish I could feel the depth behind this more. Tristan speaking for the first time all season should feel like such an emotional moment, but I just feel like not enough was focused on it. We see this a lot in the first half of the season, but because there isn't much time to focus on Miles and his conflicted feelings about being with Tristan, a lot of the season is focused on him distracting himself with his new relationship with Lola, but by the time Tristan wakes up near the end of the season, it just doesn't feel like it's paced as well. I want to feel that Miles genuinely still loves Tristan, but I just don't know if I feel that just because he says it. I know he cares for Tristan, but romantically, I don't know if he still feels that way about him. And there's no way that he doesn't have any lingering feelings about Lola, or maybe even for her.
Like, I'm sorry about how this all went down. The timing, I'm sorry I wasn't there for the,
It's okay, I'm okay.
Still, I should have been there.
I didn't mean anything to you at all.
You're my hope.
It just feels like the season wants to wrap up this conflict, this love triangle. After everything that's happened, I do wish that Miles' anxiety was focused on a little bit more throughout the rest of the show.
I can't help but think if things had gone slightly differently this semester, I might have been being there.
People are important.
Especially after the bus crash and his relationship with Tristan. Because I think season 3 does show how Miles is struggling to cope with Tristan being in a coma. And that's where we see his developing relationship with Lola. However, the conflict is more focused on his relationship with Lola rather than his anxiety over Tristan at a certain point. That anxiety is there to a certain extent, so I'm not saying there isn't any attention to that or Miles' deep turmoil over the situation. It just seems like it becomes more focused on keeping the fact that he cheated a secret.
You know we can't hang out anymore, right? Except to play. Maybe you can take a bus.
I wish we got to see Owen, because you'd think that we would see him at least once. Rasha's kind of frustrated that she has to hide that she's gay from Goldie.
Because we broke up. Why didn't you tell me? me. Am I sinning if I have sex with Zoe? According to the Quran, yes, but I still love you guys. I thought it would be different here. I get to be in a play. She kicked her out of her house. Her own daughter, just for being gay. So who's the real sinner?
Eventually, Zoe and Rasha make up.
Can you ever forgive me? For everything I dreamed of. Thank Goldie. She helped pick him up. I realized that hero and come-up boys' love is no different than anyone else's. We should be together. Even if we're sinning. I decided that's not up to me. I just want you to be happy.
Maya's depression throughout the season has gotten worse.
Maya, I think you're depressed.
This isn't like last time. I don't just feel anxious and sad.
We may try medication, but I would also recommend lots of therapy.
But I already did that and it didn't work. You guys said it was over and it's not.
Depression's a lifelong battle. But look at the bright side. Now that we know what's wrong, we can fix it.
And she starts having more outbursts of anger.
I just want to fix you. Well, I'm not broken. You just don't like the way I am right now, so you want some stupid disease to blame it on. Honey. You're the one that started it. I hate it and I hate you. That mirror was my grandmother's. Whatever. I always thought it was ugly.
Distancing herself from her friends, her usual interests she's less involved with.
Your grades have dropped. You've been skipping class, and we've noticed that you haven't been hanging out with your regular crowd.
So you're like spying on me now? Now that we've established I'm a screw up, can I go? No, not until we figure out a plan. Okay, I'll do it.
Do what?
Whatever you want. We just want the old Maya back.
And she even stops taking pictures with Saad eventually. Even when she tries to explain how she's feeling, everyone just feels distant from her.
I can help with play.
Did you tell Simpson that our play was about suicide?
You ditched me for some messed up art project and now you're trying to tank our play?
It's just been hard lately.
Finding out that you're gonna need a lung transplant before you graduate, that's hard. You're a terrible friend.
Tell me what I can do to fix it.
Nothing. I just don't want you in my life anymore.
Even when she's talking to Zig, he downplays her feelings.
Grace hates me. I don't blame her. I keep failing everyone. I don't know what to do.
Everyone gets sad sometimes.
This isn't sometimes. It's all the time. And I don't feel sad. I feel numb.
Felt that, so you're not completely hopeless.
And I know that's not his intention, but the things she's saying sounds familiar.
I'm sad. I just want it to go away.
Well, everybody gets sad once in a while. I just don't want to see you make a drastic decision because you're sad.
You think I want to feel like this? It's like my head isn't screwed on right. I just want to be happy.
Good. Be happy.
It's kind of weird that Zig doesn't pick up on this a little bit. It's clear that what happened with Cam never really left Maya. Maya even tries kissing him to try to feel something that she used to.
I miss you. I wish we could have a do-over.
Maya, what are you doing? I have a girlfriend.
Yeah, you do. I'm so sorry.
Do I look like the forgiving type?
I've already mentioned that Degrassi's depiction of mental health isn't always the greatest.
Admit it. You hate me. That's not you talking. It's the disease. The book says you— stop talking to the stupid book, Mom!
They refer to a person with mental health issues as being sick, and I don't really like that because it feels like it diminishes the ongoing struggle that the person will have to go through in order to manage their mental health issues. I'm glad that we got to see Katie come back and support Maya. Her mother doesn't know what else to do to comfort her.
How did I let it get this bad? I've failed as a parent.
No, it's okay, Mom.
You didn't have to ruin her life, too.
Maya, why don't we hang out today? We can catch up.
I have to take care of something.
All right, well, I can come with you.
Maybe next time.
And Maya has already decided that she doesn't want to live anymore, so she starts making plans to have one final night with her mother and sister.
PJs, everyone. I fixed the mirror. At least I tried. It looks perfect. I'm sorry if it's such a burden lately. No, you haven't.
Don't lie. I know things have been hard, but I'm gonna make it all better. I have a plan.
Okay, PJs, everyone. Let's get this party started.
Maya also seems happier suddenly, and this is common for people who have made plans to take their own lives.
Just happy you're here. Make everything easier on Mom.
Hey, I love you too, sis.
And a lot of loved ones don't usually see this as the reason. They usually assume that the person is just feeling better.
I love you guys.
Oh, the nerd apple doesn't fall far from the nerd tree.
What? I do. Bring it in.
She ends up posting a song that she wrote and then deletes her social media account and blocks all of her friends. Maya gives away her guitar ring to Grace, something that was really important to her, which is one of the telling signs that she's about to take her life. I'm not even joking when I say Exit to Freedom is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard.
I'll take the last exit to freedom, the last chance to be free. And the first sign of tomorrow feels like freedom to me.
Not even by the show's standards, but just by music standards, and clearly people agree with me. When I've listened to this in the past, I've read so many comments about how Maya's struggle with depression and anxiety really resonates with them, and I wholeheartedly agree with this. Maya's anxiety has consistently been shown throughout her time on the show, and the bus crash was, I think, a trigger for her depression. The reason why Maya's struggles are relatable and believable is because we watched her grow up and struggle with trauma, and she's had a hard time coping with it. It is one of the better written storylines of the Next Class because of that added layer of seeing the characters struggle.
She should have seen this coming. She deleted all of her social media. She made that song. Not to mention those death photos. Stop. It's nobody's fault.
No one can know what's going on inside someone's head. She didn't want to be here anymore, and now she's getting
When she sees Esme and Zig at the dot, she says this.
Take care of Zig for me, okay?
After taking pills on a school bus near the school, where everybody is preoccupied with the play, she decides to go to the roof because the pills haven't kicked in yet.
I can't do anything right. Thank you for being my friend.
You said we weren't friends anymore.
No, forget about that. It wasn't me talking. I always liked you.
Zig and Esme end up finding her on the roof, and we see how emotionally disturbed Esme is when she sees Maya like this.
She's ODing!
Well, should we try to make her throw up?
No, you never do that. I learned that with my mom. We have to put her in prone position and call 911!
Can we just forget about stupid Maya? God knows I'm trying to.
It's a suicide bear. Min clearly thinks that a few carnival games will stop everyone's depression.
She looked the exact same when I found her. I've been having nightmares again.
They end up getting her to the hospital in time.
She's gonna make it. She's been through something, and it's been really hard, and it's gonna be a fight, but I hope that you guys stick by her through this.
We will. Tell Maya said thanks. She'll still be needing this.
And season 3 comes to a close.
Can we get pizza? It's literally been 6 months since I've had pizza.
Sounds good to me. I'm starving. So.
I like the plot lines during this season for the most part, although I wish we got more time to focus on specific ones, so that they could feel a little bit more fleshed out. Some of the characters have still yet to get any storylines centered around them. There's a lot of you that seem to be on the same page about certain characters. For example, I've seen some of you say that Tiny's plot lines revolve around other characters, and they're not usually centered around him, and I completely agree with this. Tiny was introduced during season 13, and most of his presence is just to set up Zig's connection with the gang. Season 14, we learn that his brother is Vince, which I think would have been an interesting plot line if we got more focus on their relationship because of how Vince was brought into the show. It would have been such an interesting dynamic because of this fact, but Tiny never really gets to be his own character or have his own focus.
My dad's in prison. My mom's so high most of the time she barely remembers my name. This was all I had. He took care of me.
Tiny is also really smart, but we never really get any plot lines around this either. In the next class, the only plot line he's involved with is a love triangle, essentially. He just feels like Zig's friend or Shay's boyfriend.
Just because we slept together doesn't mean you can stop trying. I'm not like some cow, okay? And my milk is definitely not free. Hey, I'm trying to have a conversation here!
Will you go to prom with me?
Tiny never got to be more than a supporting character, and it's really unfortunate that they didn't focus on him at all in the 4 seasons of the next class. We didn't get one plotline that didn't revolve around teen romance drama. There's more to his character, and I can see that. It's just they didn't really explore it, and he just got left behind. Winston is also another character introduced in season 13 as Miles' friend, and over time he never really gets to have his own storylines. We don't really know anything about Winston as a person. We've learned more about other characters that were introduced after him than we have really about him. And even when there were opportunities for Winston to have a plot line, he just never got focus. The only time he gets focus is when he's in a relationship with other characters, where really their conflict is supposed to be the main focus and not him. He's a supporting character, and it's unfortunate because there are more things that the show could do with his character, and he's really only used most of the time to support Miles or to deliver certain information or to be that guy that Zoe enters a relationship with to convince herself that she's straight. Winston is a nice guy. He's funny, he's made mistakes, but he also is caring, and clearly he's a supportive person. They set up that Winston and Goldie like each other.
Wait, did you say you were flirting with me?
I have to go.
But they don't really have time to develop their relationship while also focusing on Goldie's conflict for the season. Goldie gets a revealing picture from Winston, and she misunderstands the meaning of this.
Just because I accidentally flirted with you does not give you the right to send me a no-pants pic.
Maybe this is just me. I don't know how guys interact, but do guys do this?
I thought I sent it to Miles. It's a dumb joke we have going. I must have sent it to you as a reflex. Here's a picture of a stapler. Here's a picture of a chair. It's not like out. It's hidden in like a fruit bowl or a pack of hot dogs. It's a really dumb guy joke.
I don't know. I just thought it was a little funny and I had to bring it up. Jonah was introduced as Becky's love interest.
What do you think about 2 guys together?
I think that's kind of beautiful.
Really?
2 ripped hunks rubbing their oily muscles against each other. I'm not gay, Becky.
And singing partner. He was, I guess, supposed to be a born-again Christian type with a troubled past.
Do you know what it means to be straight edge? It means I abstain from smoking, drinking, drugs, and from sex. In my experience, if you're not careful, that's where kissing leads.
With how many girls?
I'm not a virgin, Becky. Probably best to leave it at that. It's behind me.
I'm abstinent now. I'm with you.
And he never has his own individual plot lines, usually being the support for another character or love interest. It's unfortunate because we don't really get to learn anything new about him. We don't really get to see his own struggles through his own plot lines, and they're really only shown to us through other characters.
I am not that guy anymore, okay? I promise.
How do I know which version of you I care about and which version stole from me and lied about it?
I know that I am flawed. I am trying to be better. I need you.
He's one of the other characters that they didn't really have time to fit into the show, so he could have his own individual storylines, so he often gets overlooked by most. Season 4 starts with Maya returning to school for the seniors' final semester.
Is that a hickey?
Who is he? Nope, not doing this.
Sweet vampire bite.
Is that a rookie mark?
Come on.
Can you guys believe that this is our last semester in high school?
Is that a hickey?
Zig doesn't know how to approach Maya, and he feels guilty for ignoring her, and blames himself to a certain degree.
Hey guys.
How are you?
I don't know, I'm good, I guess.
Stop treating like she's made of glass, weirdo. Hey.
Hi.
Let's go.
This upsets Esme because she's worried he still has feelings for Maya. This season, Esme has more of a role, trying to make sure Zig doesn't get too close to Maya.
Why do you always get so crazy?
I'm the crazy one, not Maya, the one who tried to kill herself. She's so selfish.
She even takes advantage of Frankie, who just got out of a relationship.
So, you want to stop having fun because of what people think?
Not people, my friends.
Because they're important to you. So important that they couldn't help you through a breakup. That they don't really have time for you anymore.
They have time for me.
Do they? Or would they rather do do-gooder things for the world rather than for you, the person they know and allegedly love?
In order to excite things in the relationship she has with Zig.
I mean, she's cute, don't you think?
It's a simple question.
So you don't want to kiss her? Come on, you're human. You're saying you haven't even thought about it. So you don't want to kiss her?
Well, no, that's not what I said. I just felt like such an idiot and she's trying to cheer me up.
I don't cheer you up?
No, of course you do. Can you tell me what's happening right now?
You're telling me you wanted to kiss Frankie, unless I heard it correctly.
Frankie tries to get back with Jonah and has trouble getting over him.
What is your problem?
You have to be you!
By this point, I wish the show would move past just focusing on Frankie's relationship to guys and actually start exploring her character, because they set up an interesting arc for her, and it feels like aside from Frankie not knowing who she is as a person, they don't really know how to progress her past that point, so they just make her mainly focused on guys throughout the show.
Jonah, I have something for you.
What the hell?
Oh, it's a new guitar. So you can pay for a date for once in your life.
I just never really get to that point where I'm interested in her as a character, but it sucks because I could easily see myself growing to like Frankie more if they focused on who she wants to be as a person. There just wasn't enough time to focus on it. In the first episode of the season, we see how Maya is dealing with everything. I honestly wish we got to see more of Maya's struggles with depression this season, because you do see a noticeable change in her demeanor.
We've been talking to my mom about my return. Everybody has feelings about me coming back. Worry, sometimes guilt. I feel like I owe them all an apology or something.
They're just happy that you're alive.
It's like all that stuff happened to a completely different person.
Something that gets between her real self and the world.
That's exactly how it feels. I find myself dipping. I just think about friends and family. Oh, and SoCal art.
Because there wasn't really enough time, Maya returns to school only after 2 weeks. And with everything established in the previous season, she realistically wouldn't be coming back to school so soon. Probably not for a few months at least, especially when she has thoughts of wanting to end her own life. Those type of thoughts don't just go away, especially after 2 weeks. It's a long process of working with a therapist, possibly medication, and time for Maya to be able to work through the negative thoughts and emotions she has. She's still clearly struggling and doesn't really know how to go about loving the things that she used to again.
35 dead. When I was at my worst, I was staying up all night watching photos and videos like that.
It's okay. It's off now.
It's not okay. I'm not okay. I keep getting triggered by everything. The TV, trying to write this music.
Her recovery doesn't really get much focus. We see her trying to get back into music again when she's asked to write a theme song.
It wasn't going that slow.
You got into SoCal art?
I can't make music anymore. I pick up a guitar, nothing.
It's just rusty.
We're looking for a new theme song for our vlog channel.
I'm not sure I'm up for it.
She'll do it.
I mean, I don't know, Tris.
Seize the day.
But she's worried about not being able to write music anymore. Also, I love seeing Maya and Tristan talking and hanging out again. And Tristan is also really supportive of her and pushing her to play music.
For a few months, he peed through a bedpan.
See, you can still do it.
Yeah, you tricked me. Size doesn't count, it's just for fun.
It used to all be fun for you. Feel like failed with that first song. If I gave up after every time I failed, I wouldn't even be walking. Try it one more time. Focus on keeping it fun. I'll help.
It's been so long since we saw them hanging out like this, and it was just nice to see.
All inclusive.
Thanks. I really needed that.
Yeah, me too.
Maya also pushes herself to perform in the school talent show. When she wants to play Exit to Freedom, everyone thinks that it's too dark because of the reason she wrote it.
But we're worried that Last Exit might be too inspiring.
You really think it's gonna make people want to kill themselves?
Well, not on its own, but what if they're feeling the way that you were?
Maya didn't end up singing Exit to Freedom for the talent show, but I still like the conversation that she has with Craig afterwards.
I like the latest one that you posted.
Oh, Last Exit. I wasn't in a great place when I wrote that song.
I went through some pretty scary stuff too. But you know, songs like that helped. They let me know that I wasn't alone.
Your thoughts weren't wrong, even though they were really scary.
Exactly. I'm asking you to come meet with us.
And then you have to think about it.
Easy tryst. It's not a date. It's a tour. I just want to make sure I make the right choice for me.
These are nice steps for Maya, who is trying to find herself again after being in a dark place. I do want to acknowledge that too, even if it didn't get the focus that I wanted. Shay wants to take supplements to improve her performance, so she gets a job at Lola's Cantina and steals money from the restaurant's tip jar.
I do train. It's not enough. What was the point of me working so hard? Stupid puberty was gonna mess everything up. You promised that if I work harder than everyone else, I can achieve anything that I want. Well, you lied. Everyone lied.
If I know you, you'll find another way.
Saad, who also needs the job, gets blamed because of course Lola wouldn't assume that her friend would take money from her.
The tips are missing.
And you think I took them?
Well, we haven't had a problem before you started.
I would never steal from you.
Wouldn't you say that if you had taken it?
There must be another explanation.
Not one I can find.
I thought you were different, but you're judgmental and small-minded like everyone else.
She ends up bringing the money back and apologizing.
The only way I'm gonna get fast enough to get scouted, because if I don't get scouted this year, that's it. The thing I've wanted my entire life just goes away.
I will lend you the money, at least for the first month.
Really? Even after what I did?
Well, what can I say? I'm a saint.
Later in the season, we see that Shay is worried about her first time with Tiny.
My friends think I need to give myself a chance to know if I'm ready. I guess I was just scared of how I'd feel when I was actually here with you.
So, how do you feel?
Ready.
Shay would obviously be insecure because she's inexperienced. Look, I want to have more to say about Shay as a character. I know she's determined and dedicated. It's just I don't really find her conflict as interesting as other characters. And I really want to, it's just lacking something for me. I like the direction they go with Yell's character.
Do you think I want to be a boy? Transgender? I'm not. I mean, that's not why I went into the bathroom.
But there is something going on, right? Whatever it is, we just want to know so that we can help.
From what we've seen, they don't express themselves in a feminine way like other girls.
You can't come in.
Why not?
Because you're a girl.
It doesn't say no girls. It just says somebody wearing pants, and I'm wearing pants. Oh God.
What are you doing?
I'm wearing pants.
That's why you can't come in.
They play video games, mostly have guy friends.
How do you feel about fights?
Oh, they're hilarious. See? Also, really? Yeah. They come in your butt and they make a funny sound.
Guys and girls just find different things funny. Except for Lola.
Yeah, I'm an enigma. You still can't assume everything about anybody just because of their gender.
And it makes sense why they would start feeling confused about this.
It's more than that. You've been acting different.
I felt different, I guess.
You don't want to make out anymore. Have you been? You've been wearing like a...
It's called a binder. It just makes me feel more comfortable. I didn't think that you noticed.
I was just scared that if I brought it up, you'd dump me.
I just really know how I'm feeling these days. I'm really glad we could talk about this.
Yell is obviously confused about their gender identity.
Do you have anything that'll make your breasts disappear? We do have binders.
And others have started to notice the physical changes about Yell and how they choose to present themselves.
The armpit hair, the bathroom thing. She don't ever want to make out anymore. He was very distraught. If you're not trans, what are you? A lesbian? Bitch. Because you're being confusing. So sort yourself out, or at least put the poor guy out of his misery.
Especially when they start feeling insecure about their breast size.
Most girls were killed for those.
They always get in the way. When I was little, my mom never used to do physical stuff with us because she had these big boobs. And I just don't want to miss out on stuff like she did just because I was given the worst genetic gift ever.
Or the fact that they don't want to shave every day.
Yell's got armpit hair? Ew. I had no idea. Hunter had a taste for Wookiee.
Shut up, I didn't know.
Something weird going on with Yao?
Listen, if you heroes want to ask Yael to shave her pits, be my guest.
Or we can digitally groom the hair out before it's due tonight.
With Lola's help, they are able to start understanding why they feel so different from other girls, and that's because Yell doesn't identify as a girl.
I was just trying to see if I'm gay. I don't think I am. I don't feel like a girl. I don't feel like a boy either. I'm definitely not gay. I'm like Hunter.
Gender fluid. If being a boy or girl is made up, you can make whatever you want. Okay, look, just tell me what you want to look like if you were worrying about being Yao.
I like that we get to see Yell feel comfortable with their new look.
Most people like you use different pronouns. You're not all boy or you're not a girl. Why should people refer to you like you are?
What's Hunter gonna say? What if he hates it?
I'm more worried about what you think. Oh my gosh, did I do it wrong? I'm so sorry.
No. You did it exactly right.
But when they try to show Hunter, he has a harder time dealing with that.
Do you actually want to be a dude?
I don't really feel like a girl.
What does that even mean?
I thought you'd be okay with it.
I like girls.
I thought you liked me.
I'm confused. I mean, I want you to be happy, but this is too much for me right now.
This is me. He loves me. Come around. I'm not going back.
You're total badass, you know that?
Couldn't have done it without you.
Unfortunately, because of the time that there was to work with, we didn't really get to see much of a resolution to Yell and Hunter's relationship that we probably would have seen more of if we got another season. Hunter clearly is having a hard time adjusting to Yell's physical changes.
Yell's using they and them instead of she and her.
It's ridiculous. They is plural. Yael's not two people. I'm the bad guy for breaking up with her.
Them.
I barely see you guys anymore.
Yell's still the same person on the inside. And if you loved that person before, why can't you love them now?
And it really sucks that we didn't get a conclusion to this arc for Hunter.
One for you and one for your boyfriend.
It's not my boyfriend.
Doesn't matter.
I should have known you were a girl.
She's not a girl either.
It's really no big deal.
Then why'd you do it? Everything was perfect until you had to go and mess it up. It's not normal.
There is no normal, and I'm not the problem. You are.
Because I kind of wanted to watch him grow to accept Yell the way they are. It makes sense to me that he'd be confused.
But Yael hasn't done anything so drastic. Faye is still a girl biologically, so would it really be that different if you guys hung out? Or made out?
I don't know.
Well, you better find out before she starts making out with someone else.
But after the fact that Yael accepted him through his mental health struggles, it just feels unfair to Yael to a certain degree. Alright, I'm just gonna say it. Saad was robbed. I guarantee he would have grown to be one of my favorite characters if we got more focus on him. He gets into this feud with Zig, who's just a bully now.
I don't have to listen to anything you say. Now get out of my way. You're all tough now that you got your friend.
You want to find out how tough? Yeah, that's what I thought.
I know that it was Esme that convinced him that it was Saad who was to blame for what Maya did.
He was the last person who saw the night of the play. Opened the door to the roof for her, basically gave her an invitation. If anyone should have done anything, it was him, but he let her get sicker and sicker.
He didn't stop her.
He did nothing. She might have been totally okay if it wasn't for that guy.
And he decided to take his anger out on him.
You're the one who got naked for some guy for no reason.
I didn't ask for that.
But you didn't stop her.
Zig decides to escalate things by taking Saad's camera, and Saad ends up punching Zig in the face.
Why would I want anything to do with your crazy girlfriend? She's seriously messed up.
You're not in such a hurry now, are you? Give that back. What did you do?
Saad is used to keeping to himself and hasn't made any friends, but he's also kind and considerate.
Why would I be jealous of a girl who tried to kill herself? You didn't know?
I helped her open the door to the roof. I could have stopped her. I should have known something was wrong. I thought she just wanted to take pictures.
Even after Lola fired him, he still helps her out in class.
I know you think I'm a thief, but there's nowhere else to sit.
Oh my gosh, they're not here. I must have left them at the restaurant. I'm gonna fail.
Take them, please.
You sure? Our galaxy, our home. And might I add a delicious chocolate bar. Scientists believe it to be at least 100,000 light years across.
It makes sense why he wouldn't trust people too.
I want you to see how happy we are here.
Are you happy?
Why wouldn't I be? It's awesome here.
Disagree.
Maybe we'll have more fun if you stop being so grumpy all the time.
I'm not the problem.
One of my favorite aspects of the season, maybe even of the whole show, is Lola and Saad's relationship, and not just from a romantic lens. It makes sense to me that she would be the one that Saad starts to somewhat trust.
It's okay. I just want to let you know that you got the job.
I did?
Yeah, you totally kicked butt.
Thank you so much.
I'm not gonna let some bully stop me from hiring the right person.
How can I ever thank you?
By being the best busboy Lola's Cantina's ever seen. Maybe a box of jelly beans?
Maybe it's not so bad here after all.
Because Lola is a welcoming person. She has shown to be a lot more understanding than other characters on the show.
You have to tell that story. That's how people understand what you were trying to say.
People will never understand.
Well, if that were true, would I still be here?
So I love this scene where Saad opens up to her about what he's been feeling.
A lot of people are dying in the world. My village was bombed too. My house, our farm, my school, gone. My friends, gone. It happens all over the world. I can't wear one shirt and not the other. Because it happened in Syria, not in Paris, not in Belgium, not in America.
And Lola is able to sympathize with him by talking about her dad.
My dad had to leave Argentina during its civil war. He never talks about it. Guess now I know why.
And we also know that her mother left, so she's able to relate to him in a way.
I know how hard it is to be different. My family's from Argentina. I didn't learn English until I was in kindergarten.
Did they think you were going to hurt them?
No, but they thought I was like some sort of explorer. Like Dora.
I also think Saad and Lola's relationship is cute.
What are you doing?
Mustache. Okay, let's get serious. Oh, how do you know how to do that?
Oh, I learned in Syria from my cousin.
Oh, for fun? You didn't have like video games?
I know there really isn't much to work with, but I really do think that they're cute.
It is. People don't just give away A+ work. I wouldn't. I'm a Virgo.
I'm happy I could help you.
Makes me feel worse. I know you didn't steal from me. I just didn't know how to say sorry. You can totally have the job back if you wanted.
It would be a big help. Yes.
Deal. Friends?
I have to go.
I like how she goes so far to protect him, which like I said is very consistent for her character. I like how she learns from her mistakes and apologizes to Saad for hurting him.
I'm so sorry. What I did was unforgivable, and if you never want to speak to me again, I get it.
It's just nice for Lola to like someone that likes her back, and their interactions during the season just put a smile on my face.
How are you doing?
I feel less worried. It's weird not having social media, though.
That's okay. I'll be your friend.
How can I ever repay you?
Yael and I are volunteering at prom. Come keep me company. I'll consider us even.
A magical night with a wonderful girl? You drive a hard bargain.
A central conflict this season focuses on the attack that happened in Brussels, and this opens a nuanced discussion about life.
The Muslim Students Association.
The MSA is supported by Belgium.
Well, it's here for everyone. It's a joint initiative with the Student Council to show support for the Belgian victims. I'll get your size and be sure to wear these to tomorrow's solidarity photo outside, okay?
And which type of life is valued, usually Western life, and the constant apathy for other groups of people experiencing terrorism and destruction. Saad feels that no one acknowledges that his people were also killed, and he witnessed horror that no one else seems to care about.
It's not so easy. Belgium was bombed. People are mad at Muslims.
They're mad at terrorists, not us.
A student was attacked for wearing her hijab, and she was born here.
But when an attack happens in a Western nation, it gets a lot more mainstream attention and is viewed as terrorism, even though that Western militaries participate in a form of terrorism.
It's stupid to think that.
So we're all stupid?
I didn't say that. People are dying everywhere, not just in Belgium. One country doesn't deserve more sympathy than another. There have been anti-Muslim rallies in Belgium. Strangers attacking Muslim citizens. Terror is terror. This is why none of us should be wearing this shirt.
You don't know what you're saying.
Because I'm not from here? Because I'm different? Don't stand in ignorance.
Wait.
You were wrong.
I love that Degrassi focused on something as prevalent as this, especially now and how this continues to be an ongoing problem in the West.
Aren't you gonna put it on?
I can hold your pashmina for you.
It's a keffiyeh. I'm not going to wear the shirt. Terrorist attacks happen every day. People die every day.
Are you like pro-terrorist or something?
هذا ما خلاني اسيب بلدي. راح البس قميص من شان 50 شخص ماتوا في بلجيكا. مئات بيموتوا في سوريا كل يوم.
After Lola makes the mistake of thinking that Saad is speaking with terrorists.
You were searching my computer.
I didn't find anything, I swear.
What were you hoping to find?
My friends made me believe you were talking to someone bad.
And you believe them?
No, I just...
You should go.
Yael starts to feel conflicted about Lola's relationship with Saad, which it makes sense from Yael's perspective.
We have to help him, don't we? The kids at my school are stupid. No one would miss them if someone just wiped them out. We all say things we don't mean. You never felt alone, isolated, no one understands you.
They don't really know Saad, and they already have some preconceived ideas about who he is as a person.
Don't do this. Okay, come with me.
What is happening?
Hang on, son. We've got some questions for you.
He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything.
The police end up getting involved where he's questioned about who he was talking to online.
I thought he was a friend, but...
He wasn't
A radical? I think so.
Did he try to get you to do something bad?
He wanted me to come back to Syria, offered to book me a flight. How could I be so stupid? What if he comes after me? What if they think I was involved?
I've been talking to him for weeks. They're a conversation.
We'll scrub all your socials and devices.
It makes sense that Saad would want to go online and seek validation. He's angry and feels isolated.
People are upset.
I can explain what happened.
You threw your shirt in the garbage denouncing our efforts. Isn't that wrong?
I was being bullied.
It's not what it showed in the video. We have to be pragmatic.
I need to be heard.
He feels like his life isn't really valued the same way as a white person's life is valued. I just think that this is one of the more interesting plot lines of the Next Class because Degrassi focused on someone's perspective that we never really got to see at all in the show's history up until this point, and it just spoke to me. I felt fully invested in Saad as a character. I might be in the minority here, but there were things about his character that felt relatable. Unfortunately, Saad's storyline feels very unresolved because his feelings of low self-worth haven't really been addressed. There's still so much that we didn't really get to see and learn about Saad when we were just really starting to get to know him as a character.
What are you doing here?
I'm sorry I accused you of making the bomb threat. I was wrong and probably racist.
I'm going to stay with an uncle in Montreal.
Coming back, right?
To a school where everyone thinks I'm a terrorist. My parents thought I would be sent home. But there's nothing for me here.
Now we come to the party.
Goldie also gets more focused this season, experiencing being assaulted in public when she's wearing a hijab.
They attacked me. They tried to take off my hijab. I don't know. I was just on the way home and I just ran. I just wish I could go back in time and just stay home tonight.
She then makes an effort to spread awareness about the racism she experienced.
Just ignore that.
Are you on their side?
Then take that thing off. We're just trying to...
Those men are murderers, not Muslims. Doesn't your book say it's okay to kill?
Then he won't mind if I help you out.
Hey, you're animals!
Even though she wants to date Winston, she decides to focus on creating a safer place for Muslim students at Degrassi. I think this is a good storyline for Goldie, however, it doesn't really have enough time to be fully fleshed out. So the weight of Goldie having to choose between wanting to date Winston and prioritizing the Muslim Student Association doesn't feel as heavy as it would have if we saw the relationship develop since season 1 or 2.
Everything going on in the world, I think there's more important things. But so is us hanging out. I'm gonna spend my time creating a Muslim Students Association.
You can't do both.
You're sweet, Winston. But right now, I need to make sure that none of our Muslim students feel alone.
Goldie also being a senior means we don't have much more time to watch her fully deal with everything in a meaningful way before she graduates, so her character ends up feeling underdeveloped. And it's unfortunate because what they did to set up her character makes me interested in watching her try to balance what she wants in life with her faith. I like that the Next Class does show a lot of different and nuanced perspectives. You'd think that because Goldie was attacked, she'd feel just as angry as Saad and hesitate to speak about the attack in Brussels.
You are hurt by someone who was attacked herself. They tore my hijab off.
Then you should care the most about justice.
Care about safety. Your actions put all us Muslims in jeopardy.
But she doesn't feel that way like Saad does. It makes sense why she would have that perspective. She is aware of how the world sees her because she wears a hijab. And because of that, she wants to try to keep the peace, even if it means that she has to suppress her inner thoughts about how Muslim lives are discarded. We also don't get to have any plot lines about Goldie that aren't based on her race or religion. It isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just that she's not really explored past that, and there's a lot more to us as people than just what we believe in or our race. I don't blame the writers entirely because they didn't have nearly as much time as they should have for a cast size like Degrassi. Even though we don't get that much time dedicated to Grace, I like that her storylines are consistent in focusing on her continuing battle with cystic fibrosis.
I just want it to be over so I can stop worrying.
You are not going to die. You're getting rebuilt.
So many things I feel like I haven't done. I've never even been fishing.
The doctor said the new lungs didn't survive the trip.
Okay, in a way, this is a good thing.
It is?
Now you have at least one more day to do all that stuff.
Grace is worrying about her relationship with Jonah.
So how long are we gonna sneak around? Another month? Prom? Until I die? I'm not gonna be your moped.
I promise you that is not what this is.
Promises for suckers.
As she's waiting for new lungs, she's worried about dying before doing the things that she wanted to do.
We both realize we've been putting off living in a lot of ways, so I guess it's time for us to start enjoying things that you normals do, like this. Hey.
Jonah is really supportive of Grace, making the best of a bad situation and encouraging her to at least do one thing that she has on her bucket list. We finally get to learn more about him too.
Back when I was getting high, messing around with whoever, I got someone pregnant. She was 14, and I wasn't very nice to her, and I don't want to blame the drugs. Her family didn't want me to see the kid.
So you never met her?
No, and I can't. But it did make me get myself clean, so I just want to talk about that before we talked about sex.
It sucks that Jonah didn't get more focus because I kind of started to like him in the latter half of the next class.
She's as stubborn as a bull, but she puts a twinkle in my eye. Will you be my totally public, not so secret, completely out in the open girlfriend?
Even though I wasn't really interested in his character when he first started.
But I told myself that I wouldn't do it with somebody that I didn't know really, really well, so maybe we could share a few things. I once shoplifted a Snickers bar.
Rebel. I've got a birthmark on my butt. It's kind of shaped like an elephant.
Hot.
God, this is worse than getting naked with someone.
Just as exciting, though.
Tristan and Miles' relationship doesn't get that much exploration during the season, but we do have a good subplot with Miles coming to terms with his bisexuality.
Your voice is underrepresented. It deserves to be heard.
Your writing really helped me get past the bus crash.
You also helped Goldie accept me and Russia.
I related to your play. I'm not bi or white male, but spent a lot of time in hospitals.
Which is good because I've already voiced my complaints about how bisexual characters are sometimes treated in media, so it's nice to see that Degrassi made a step to acknowledge that about Miles' identity.
All my life, I've struggled with my own identity. Afraid to be labeled, afraid to identify as bisexual. And it's one of the many ideas I intend to explore as a writer. The bisexual part of me, the part that lets me love you.
Because we never really got to see how he felt about being seen as bisexual, or what that means for him as a person. Another thing that they didn't really get a chance to fully explore was Miles' relationship with his father. I think that they did a decent job setting up the conflict between them, showing how Miles doesn't respect his father and how angry he is with his father for being emotionally distant and abusive. The next class also continues this in the first season, but after that we don't really get much focus on it. It was implied that their father was making the steps to working things out with his family.
He's going to therapy, he's taking anger management classes.
But we never really got to see him interacting with Miles, Frankie, or Hunter in a meaningful way. There's some focus on how Miles wants to be a writer and what his father will think about that.
Or a creative writing program.
You're going to become a writer.
I already am a writer.
Yes, of course. I just question if writing is enough to pay for convertibles and iPhones. And...
I know it's a hard career.
Exactly. It's a very hard career, Miles. Do you really think you're good enough?
Well, I was good enough to get this opportunity.
But there really isn't much else. Even if Miles doesn't forgive his father, we don't really even have a meaningful conversation with the two about anything that happened.
I was hoping that you could support me. Some people think that I can make a difference with my writing.
You always choose the hard path, huh? You've grown up so much in the last 2 years, you know? Overcoming addiction and being there for Tristan. I'm proud of you.
You've never said that before.
Go to your writing school. Don't miss the prom. You know, I skipped mine and always regretted it.
Although Tristan was in a coma for one of the seasons, we don't get much focus on his struggles with being detached from everything before the bus crash.
You haven't told me you can do this stuff on your own?
Once I'm better, I won't need to.
I get it, okay? My girl, she pulled it when she saw me use a bedpan one too many times.
A backpacking trip?
My grandparents got it for me as a graduation gift. You okay?
Yeah.
I think it would have been an interesting direction for the character emotionally.
Please, I'll just be 1 second.
No, it's good practice for Europe.
Miles, just wait. Miles.
Tristan, here, let me help.
Stop. I told you to wait in the hall.
I know that Tristan isn't the best character, but I think after season 4, deciding to let Miles go off on his own instead of holding him back from what he wants was a step of maturity.
You're putting off all your dreams. All I've ever done is push myself, and it's been killing me.
I stood by your side. We were in a coma.
I stood by your side. We were in a coma.
I didn't ask you to do that.
So I don't even get a say when it comes to my own relationship.
Not when it gets in the way of my health. If I'm ever gonna get better, I have to do it on my own.
Because Tristan missed a lot of school, he probably would have had to repeat a year, and this would be a chance to be able to focus on Tristan as an individual, because I was genuinely interested in his struggle with his physical ability after being out of a coma and readjusting to his life. I like his friend that he had in the hospital that was helping him out.
Just because my girlfriend left doesn't mean Miles will. Take it easy. Last time I went this hard, I was stuck in bed for a week.
I just think that we could have gotten more for him.
The person I care most about is here. Will you go to prom with me? I'd like to spend whatever time I have left together.
I don't know if I could handle the sensory overload.
Well, then we'll have to have prom here. I wouldn't be the person I am today without you. How do we say goodbye?
We don't. We just dance.
Zoe doesn't get as much focus toward the end of the show. There's one plot line that focuses on her worries that Rasha is still into her ex-girlfriend.
Ever given neck massages before?
All the time.
Okay, then maybe my neck just doesn't like getting them.
Just wanted to make sure you know that I missed you.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
Here, let me take a look.
Zoe, what's gotten into you?
But it's not really anything special. I mean, it's a plotline that focuses on Zoe's first relationship with a girl. I just feel like we haven't had enough time to focus on them as a couple to the point where I'm deeply invested in a conflict between them.
Samira could not sing up the garlic, and she was a really bad kisser, so that combination was not pleasant. I'm falling in love with you.
I'm falling in love with you too.
Zoe's plotlines also started to occur very infrequently as well, so her storylines don't get as much focus as they should, especially when it comes to her relationship with her mother.
Hi, Mom. I went prom with me tonight. I'm also valedictorian tomorrow. I love you, and I want you in my life. Please come to graduation tomorrow.
She wants to know what time the ceremony's at.
She's coming. She's coming.
Towards the end of the season, Zoe's mother doesn't even end up going to her daughter's graduation.
She's not coming, Zoe. I'm sorry.
I need the stuff for university. It doesn't want me anymore.
Maybe the letter explains it.
It's fine. I just need to forget about her and focus on the speech.
Which just has to be one of the hardest things to deal with.
Our friends and our families. When I arrived at Degrassi as a... Sorry.
And I hate that we don't really get to focus on Zoe and her mother until the end of season 4.
Everyone else had their families there, and I'm alone.
So am I, an acquaintance.
What about me?
Me too.
You're not my family whom I can spend holidays with.
I get Thanksgiving.
Christmas.
Easter, of course I don't celebrate it, but if you need someone for Eid, I'm your girl.
Because it feels like there's so much more that they could have done with this. Even if her mother never accepts her, something about the way Zoe's storyline ends still feels unsatisfying.
When I arrived at Degrassi as a sophomore, I thought high school was a competition. I was scared to show people who I really was because I was afraid that they would reject me. I've learned that this world is big enough for all of us to succeed, and the only people that we should ever be competing against ourselves.
Oh boy, where do I even start with the Esme, Zig, Frankie of it all?
You should totally kiss Zig. He told me he wants to. Come on, it'd be funny. Boo, you call that a kiss? Who's better?
I think I'm gonna have to do research.
During the season, after Frankie gets closer to Zig and Esme, rumors go around that they're in a threesome.
Is this an orgy?
It totally is. Want to join in?
Even though Frankie is hesitant about hanging out with them.
Become human repellent.
We warned you. Esme's bad news.
Oh, are those the orgy cakes everyone's talking about?
Esme is able to convince her otherwise. As Esme gets more insecure with Zig and Maya's friendship.
Okay, I still can't believe you thought that gun was real.
You guys were so scary, and I hadn't seen you in like a year. I thought you'd changed.
And had I?
No, you just gone and cut the sleeves off all of your shirts.
Next time you guys are pulling a prank, you should let me know. I've got an excellent poker face.
She starts using Frankie as a way to keep Zig around.
You finally come to your senses. Oh. Who can say no to skinny dipping with two girls? They don't want me, but you do, and Zig will. We just need to find the perfect spot. Come on.
Frankie has tried to be Esme's friend, helping her with her convoluted plan, and Esme ends up leaving Frankie behind in the forest and pulls this stunt.
I can't breathe! Help!
She's allergic to bees. She must have gotten stung.
I think I'm gonna be okay.
She didn't even inject herself. You're supposed to take off the blue cap. It's still loaded.
You faked all this?
I thought I was gonna die. Why would you leave me in the woods?
Wait, what's going on?
I'm going for a walk.
Please, I can explain.
This was the breaking point for Zig, and he finally ends it with Esme.
She put herself in trouble so you would leave me.
That is some messed up thinking, Esme.
Let's just forget about everything and get back to what we're good at.
I'm trying to have an actual conversation with you. Not everything is about sex, Esme. I'm sorry, but I'm done.
On the subject of Zig, like I've mentioned before, the next class doesn't really do much to progress his character, but we do see his guilt about not looking after Maya.
You scared me. Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I feel this wall of pressure coming at me like a tidal wave.
So what's more important, your health or...
My dream?
When we found you on the roof, it felt like the world was gonna end. I almost lost you.
And this might be the closest thing that they actually do to explore Zig emotionally throughout the entirety of the next class. We also see him self-reflecting when he opens up to Esme, but there aren't really many moments where Zig is focused on in a deeper way. And since he was on the show since season 11, it just feels like he should have progressed a little bit more by this point.
Kind of have two girlfriends now.
What about next year?
I'll figure that out. I got more important things to worry about now.
Zig being worried about his future has been something that is consistent and could have been an interesting plotline that was focused on for Zig.
I just heard this morning.
Did you get into the res you wanted?
I'm not sure.
I thought you needed to know how to read to graduate.
What are you doing?
I thought you said you got in.
Well, I didn't. Now you all know what an idiot I am.
Because we do see that there is worry and insecurity about what he wants to do with his future.
What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna be here. You wouldn't mind hanging out with a complete failure.
I used to think I needed a boyfriend to be happy, but hanging out with you guys has been some of the best times I've had in a while.
We just don't really get too much focus on it, so it doesn't really leave an impact story-wise. Maya gets high eating pot brownies, which is pretty entertaining.
That's what I should call it, record time, because record time, you get it? I am one with all womankind. What are you laughing at?
Nothing, keep going.
Why'd you just look at her? It's really hot. Am I twirling? I think I just ate too many brownies.
Okay, she'll probably just sleep it off.
As the season comes to a close, prom is coming up and Esme is desperate to get Zig's attention no matter what it takes. Even if it means threatening to harm herself during prom.
You said you would never leave me and then you blocked me.
Esme, calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. Do you think I care about stupid prom?
He tries to get her to calm down, but things end badly.
Oh, what are you doing?
Anything you want.
No, you said you wanted to talk.
I've always been better when we weren't talking.
Stop acting crazy.
I thought that's how you wanted your girls.
You are so messed up. How did I stay with you for...
The way Esme's story ends will always irritate me because there is so much more that Esme has to offer as a character.
Why do you keep poking holes in my plans? I'm trying to fix us. I've done everything to keep us together. I called it a freaking ball threat. It's never too late to ask for help.
From the little insight we get into Esme, she's clearly afraid of being left alone.
But you want to get back together.
That's not what this is about.
Of course that's what this is about. How could you do this to me? We were together for a year. But you still love me. You said I could count on you.
You can. If you ever need anything, I'm here.
Okay.
And she's also extremely insecure.
They want us to break up. They'd love for him to get back together with Maya.
You're being paranoid.
They've all been friends forever. There's so much history.
Have you ever tried just being their friend? Kind of selective about who you let in.
You're awesome.
Let them see that.
Her mean exterior is a defense mechanism so she doesn't get hurt, and it's a way that she stays in control of the situation she's in.
What's the point of you even being here? I made you. You were just some pathetic girl moping over a dumb boyfriend, and I made you awesome. Now you won't even do one little thing for me? Just like everyone else. I give you everything, and you turn on me. Find your own way back.
But as she loses everything around her, including that control, she starts to emotionally break down and comes up with extreme plans to win Zig back.
And Zig's about to get back together with Maya. Of course I'm on edge. I just made everything worse. He's not gonna forgive me, Frankie. Where do you keep your freaking pens?
Try apologizing. A gift is always nice.
Zig's always wanted a motorcycle. My cousin owns a high-end bike shop.
And she also didn't get the time or focus to become a more likable character. We don't even really know what will happen with her either. It's such a shame that the show ended this way. There's somewhat of a satisfying conclusion showing where all the characters end up.
Chance to be free.
But something about this ending also leaves me unsatisfied because of the plot lines that didn't really get a chance to fully develop. There's also a lot to balance with 10 episodes, and this being the final season for a lot of the cast, they have a lot to juggle, making sure that most of their storylines feel resolved, and we're somewhat satisfied, but a lot of the characters don't really feel fully explored by the end of season 4. There isn't much time to focus deeply on the rest of the cast either. We already saw how certain characters felt left behind and others didn't even get any focus on at all, and then there are characters that get more focus in the first 2 seasons than the last 2 seasons. Because the next class ended after season 4, there are students that haven't graduated, and they would have been the next seniors. There are character arcs that didn't get to really be concluded. I imagine that after learning that Esme hasn't been attending classes, that she might have to repeat a year, and I honestly think it would have been interesting to see Tristan repeat a year. It would have given us a chance to see Tristan grow and mature more as a character and become more likable. It would have also been interesting to see him making new friends with the incoming seniors. I wish we got to learn more about Lola's relationship to her father. Shay and Frankie's characters still feel underdeveloped. What about Hunter and Yael? How will Saad learn to deal with his struggles in a new country? There's still so much more that they could have done with Rasha's character too. There was just more to see from this cast that we didn't really get time to fully explore everything. If I had to rank each of the seasons, I'd probably say that I like season 3 the best, followed by 4, then 1, and then 2. Now that we've gone through the next class, I want to talk about why the show didn't continue. After looking into it some more alongside my own conclusions, there are a few reasons that the show ended after season 4. The main reason why the show didn't continue was probably low ratings. Apparently the Canadian Family Channel and Netflix produced the show, but because the ratings started going down, the Canadian Family Channel pulled out, and Netflix wasn't going to solely produce a show whose ratings were already going down. Most of the cast from the other series had graduated and their storylines were concluded, so they probably didn't feel the need to continue it after that. But there were some people that watched the next class first and felt attached to the characters that didn't get proper conclusions. Even though I know a lot of people that watched the show were continuing from the original Degrassi series, and mostly following characters like Maya, Zig, Miles, or Zoe, or Grace even, it makes sense why they ended it the way they did. It's unfortunate the other characters didn't get a chance to be fully developed though. I never see anyone praising the next class, and one of the main reasons for making this video was because I wanted to look back in depth at why people don't respond as strongly to the show as the earlier seasons seasons. And after going through all the characters' storylines, it makes sense to me why people weren't as attached to the next class as much as early Degrassi. And one of the main reasons was that there just wasn't enough time to fully flesh out characters and their storylines, so people were less invested and connected to them. I honestly had hope for a continuation of the series in some form when I heard the announcement of a reboot, partly because HBO Max was apparently going to be handling it. I'm pretty sure there was a bit of time after the reboot announcement where I remember the show was taken off YouTube. Was that just me? Let me know if this was the case or if I'm misremembering. I was thinking, oh, this reboot must be legit if they're going this far, but eventually the show was back on YouTube. After the Warner Discovery merger, they started cutting things left and right, and Degrassi was one of those things. There's a chance that the show could come back, and there has been talk of trying to find a different distributor for the show, but it won't be in the near future, I imagine. Even though I'm already in my 20s, I was looking forward to seeing what they would do with the show going forward. I'm not one that hates the next class. In some ways, I think it opens up more nuanced discussions that early Degrassi didn't, but I'm also aware of its flaws and the reason why it didn't continue. I think Degrassi at its best is a really good show for teens and adults, but somewhere along the way it did give in more to the melodrama than trying to stay realistic and grounded, and the next class also had this problem. I think that less people weren't invested in Degrassi once it moved to Netflix, which isolated their audience of the show more, and it just didn't create the intrigue like other seasons of the show had in the past. Degrassi Next Class is good in certain aspects and flawed in others, and I think it doesn't have a great reputation, but I wanted to be able to give it a fair shake and talk about what I liked and what I didn't. Man, I've been talking for a while. I hope that you guys liked this look back at Degrassi Next Class. Let's hope that maybe we'll see a new Degrassi show in the future. That's all I got. See you in the next one.